recently, and he lives in Tampa. That's baseball at University of South Florida. So we were going back and forth, and I go, "Hey, I'll be in town this weekend." And he goes, "Let's study some film together. Let's look at some stuff." So he was putting together his quarterback class with Ty Simpson. And so I just happen to be, I'm always up at 5 a.m. It's just the way I'm wired. So I'm like, "Hey, man, let's get together on Saturday. We'll look at some film and just kind of hang out." He's like, "Great, come on over. I'm studying Ty Simpson." So, I get up early and I roll over to his office and probably get there and at 6 o'clock or whatever. And we sat for 5 hours and watched Alabama offense. And he's studying Simpson, the quarterback, who I really like, by the way. You talk about a kid that one, fearless, absolute, just absolutely letting things eat. Um, and taking shots down the football field, not worried about completion percentage. It wasn't an offense from my perspective that was all about throwing bubble screens. I hate it when people talk about in college football, most accurate quarterback in the history of college football. Then I watch the film, and he throws 14 freaking bubble screens. And I'd be like, I could complete 70% in that freaking offense, right? So there's a bunch of that stuff that goes on. But John and I were just sitting there watching film, talking about football. And then, I'd have a question for him about route combinations or about what they're trying to do. And then he would ask me about run game combinations and how do you tie some zone stuff with your gap run. And then we were talking about blitz pickup, and we get on the grease board, and then all of a sudden I'd be doing a demo. And you would think everybody's like, "Did you guys film a podcast? I can't wait for the podcast." I go, "No, we're doing one-on-one, and I'm using John as a blocking dummy, or he's on the grease board, and I'm telling him how I would block something." And it was just like a meeting of like two guys that are football junkies talking about football. But as I'm watching for 5 hours with John, minus these little breaks we would take to talk about concepts or whatever, I'm like, I have no idea. I've watched 5 hours of football, of Alabama football, and I have no idea where you guys hang your hat in the run game. And by the way, the number of zero yardage gains and the number of minus gain, like tackle for losses and 0 yard gains and 1 yard rushes, with as big and as strong as physical as your offensive line is, you ought to be embarrassed. It was some of the worst film I've ever watched. And I walked away 5 hours going, other than hanging your hat on trick plays, I don't know what you do as an offense in the run game that I would look at and go, yeah, that's a place where you can hang your hat. And it's really interesting. Don't mean to be long-winded, but I have consulted for a bunch of professional football teams. And one of the things I tell coaches that are trying to solve some of their run game issues is find something that you can hang your hat on. Find one thing that you can be really good at and do it 10,000 times. So, regardless of what defense you get, regardless of what formation you're in, regardless of what personnel grouping you're in, you are going to be an expert at that. And then off that, find the adjunct things you can do off that one play that pair well with that. And all of a sudden you can
catch up on all today's Next Round on demand through the podcast platform of your choice: Apple, Spotify, iHeart, or Google Podcast, wherever you listen. Always like, follow, subscribe, and turn on automatic downloads so you never miss any part of the Next Round.
It's bow time. The Bojangles Chicken Rice Bowl is back. Get dirty rice, slow-cooked Cajun pintos, cheese, and your choice of chicken for just $7.49. But order now. It's only here for a limited time. It's bow time. It's bow time. The Bojangles Chicken Rice Bowl is back. Get dirty rice, slow-cooked Cajun pintos, cheese, and your choice of chicken for just $7.49. But order now. It's only here for a limited time. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama-born, Alabama-raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Other than moving the franchise back to Houston, the Titans get their uniforms right. We'll show those to you later on if you haven't seen those yet. Todd Fuhrman does the walk of shame like he's walking cross campus after a Thursday night frat party. Send that to him. He has to come on in an hour and talk Italian baseball with me here on the show. We'll talk about the NCAA tournament as well. Selection Sunday is Sunday, 5 o'clock Central on CBS. And we'll talk about Auburn's chances of hearing their name called or not after we talk about the game that Auburn played yesterday and sort of let get away. Jumping into that, Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, our friends at Kalshi gets us going today as we talk everything SEC tournament and Auburn's chances of being in the bracket. Tell us about our friends at Kalshi, LT. Promo code TNR is so important.
Yeah, legally available in all 50 states. If you're sitting around right now in the office, you're bored to death, download Kalshi. Most important thing, put in that code TNR. You're going to get $10 when you trade $10. We've got the Oscars coming up this weekend. If you haven't seen the next reel, Tyler, deep dive into his Oscar picks. You can get a little value there. There are positions you can take right now with Kalshi. Obviously, with conference tournaments all weekend long, you can take positions there. From the start of the game, middle of the game, end of the game, they've got it. You can cash out at any point. Brown, very simple to get involved with our friends at Kalshi.
Yeah, download that app. Use code TNR for $10 on your first $10 position. Bama playing Ole Miss at 2 o'clock in the SEC tournament. You can find the Crimson Tide right now at 85%, Ole Miss at 15%. If you like the point spread, just switch to sports fan mode where you'll get Bama at 10.5. Alabama favored 10.5. And that one, you can play that at the sports fan mode with a total of 163.5 from the SEC tournament in Nashville. All the games today and pop culture, economics, politics, all of that. You can get a position at Kalshi, Kalshi.com, and the Kalshi app. Code TNR for $10 on your first $10 position.
My favorite thing about Kalshi is that you're watching Auburn and Tennessee play each other yesterday, and you can jump in at one point and say, oh, I think Tennessee's going to come back and win this game. So I've done it back-to-back days with Tennessee, and the night before that I did it with TCU when they were down a lot with some time left to play in the second half. The
good value.
The end game, you find the value, you jump in and do that. Man, Auburn for 28 minutes yesterday played one of their better games of the year. They're up 10 with about 11:57 to go in the game. And then that's about when you got to Innisfree, our new conversation of the of Mystery Fifth Hour from Innisfree is out now. You can go check that out. That's when you got to Innisfree. I come rolling in slowly right behind you, and in that process, Tennessee goes on a 20-0 run, which is rare in basketball. I mean, it's not Bam Adebayo going for 83 rare, but
in the NBA, it's not crazy rare. In college basketball, when you're playing 40 minutes, it is rare.
20-0 run.
Especially light teams.
And it flipped it around. Your takeaway before, let's don't talk tournament yet. Let's talk about this game. What went wrong in this game for Auburn right there, and then we'll jump into their chances.
I think it almost is Auburn's season summed up in, that second half. How good they can be, how bad they can be at times. But you talk about that 20-0 run that ended up being a 22-2 run where they took command and ended up, getting the double-digit lead. In that run, Auburn had 4 turnovers. They had a shot clock violation. Stephen Pearl got a technical. I mean, it was just a complete meltdown against an offensively challenged Tennessee team. And Auburn, at the end of the day, did exactly what they needed to do and then some. They out-rebounded the Tennessee Volunteers yesterday.
40-39. And, anytime you do that against Tennessee, you've done some work. But, Brownie, in that 20-0 run, we saw Bruce Pearl get mad at the officials as not a coach anymore, as a fan, as a dad, watching his son coach. Steven got the technical. A lot of Auburn fans were like, how can we play on a 20-0 run that much of basketball and not get to the free throw line?
Yeah, well, and yes, that question came up a lot, especially as physically as Tennessee plays. And sometimes I think that benefits Tennessee. Like sometimes I think they play so physical that the refs get baited into, well, that's just Tennessee style of play. I can't call every.
Right.
It's the old
We've
Rick
got to be
Pitino.
able to officiate this team, and we can't call fouls nonstop.
I can't stop the game all the time. It's the old Rick Pitino theory. If 5 guys are fouling, they may not call any of them. If all 5 are fouling.
And under Barnes, they've been one of the handsiest teams, I mean, year in, year out. That's just the way they play.
Yeah, I would say this, too. At some point in that process, maybe not exactly at the beginning of the 20-0 run, but in that process, you could just see Auburn tighten up. They starting to slip away, and they knew how important that win was going to be for their bracketology. Here's Stephen Pearl on that 20-0 run and what happened.
I think it was 8.5 minutes. We were in the bonus with 12 minutes left, and we went 8.5 minutes without drawing a foul. And when you go on a run like that, it's really part of what we try and do to break up runs is to get to the foul line. And I got to go back and watch the tape, but 8.5 minutes against a team that's as physical as Tennessee is, that's something. I thought we had some sloppy turnovers in that run too. We had I want to say 7 second-half turnovers that led to points in transition, and we dribbled into their help too often. Didn't play off 2 feet as much as we should have. We settled for some tough ones, and we let their physicality bother us and kind of throw us off our spots. And that's what that team does really well, and that's why they're such an effective defensive team.
Although that might be accurate, not the best look deflecting to the officials.
Yep.
I mean, not at all. You've lost 9 of 12 games. I mean, own this. Absolutely own it.
Yep. I'm with Lance on that. That was not a good look for Steven. It's a 20-0 run. There's just so much. When you have a
but in fairness, though, if you're watching the game, 5 free throws in the first half, and I'm not saying these are bad calls because Rick Barnes adjusted at the halftime where Steven had the design of trapping, and it was really taking Gillespie off of his game and the Tennessee guards. And then he comes out in the second half, and they're running more ISOs. And they're getting to the free throw line. What did they shoot? They shot 5 free throws in the first half, and they shot 27 in the second half. I mean, both ends of the floor. That's a long time.
It might be legitimate, but because of where this Auburn team is, you don't deflect to the officials.
Well, I mean, you get asked a question about the 20-0 run, and I think it's a fair comment to say, I've done this a long time. Have I ever watched 8 minutes and 30 seconds of Tennessee basketball and not think they fouled somebody?
Well, sure.
Not in Rick Barnes' time.
There was no accountability there from his own team. Like, offensively, we didn't do anything.
It's back into that. He said we made some sloppy turnovers. We made some stuff there.
Aside from that, though, I think when you're in a 20-0 run, and this is the problem with this Auburn basketball team, when you're in a 20-0 run, if you're an NCAA tournament team or you're trying to make the NCAA tournament or you're a good team or whatever the case might be, you got to have a guy that can get you out of that. And they don't have a guy that can get you out of that consistently. It's been Kevin Overton. It should be Todd Pettiford. But they don't have that guy.
Well, let me tell you about Tahad here. 28 points, so it looks good, right?
Right.
But he's the guy that runs the offense. He had 1 assist and 5 turnovers. And that's the problem with the way this team was put together. They don't have a point guard.
Yeah.
Tahad shouldn't be the point guard.
Well, Tahad's kind of like Stephon Marbury. You look up and he's like got a great game, but they lose.
Yeah.
And you're like, what does this really matter? Because statistically, if you just look at the box score, that Tahad goes out and has 28, and they out rebound Tennessee, you're like, damn, they probably won this game.
But the game before that, when Tahad only had 13. But he had very few turnovers, and he distributed the basketball to a lot of people. That's when Auburn's been at their best, when Todd really isn't your scorer. His great one-on-one. It all goes back to the way this team was put together to begin with. It's like, what was it? Who had that great saying that there are 5 fingers? I think it was Damian Fishback. He may not have been the first person who said this, but he said it about this Auburn team. There are 5 fingers. They're just not on the same hand. And that's a great way to describe. You got 5 good players.
Yeah,
they're just not built to they're not built to work together.
That's right. Yeah. And the problem is Auburn doesn't even have 5 great players. But they got 5 players that aren't working together all the time. And that's
another point. You just said it right there. They've got what do they play, 7 players? That team was tired at the end, too.
Yeah.
And part of it was the wear and tear of the season and all that, and you saw it slipping
and
away.
The pressure
but
and
they
all
were
those
out of
things.
gas.
Yeah, well, and you'll probably see a lot of this in Nashville today when you have fresh teams like Alabama and Florida rolling in, and these teams like an Ole Miss that just grinded. Yeah. You know, I rode up the elevator. I didn't believe you the other way. I didn't not necessarily believe you. I found it hard to believe there were Auburn fans saying, I want the season to end. I don't want to watch any more of this basketball team. And I just rode up with an attorney that's in our building, and he's like, I can't watch this anymore this year.
Well, again, Bruce Pearl gave this program caviar taste, and they, you know, when you get a Swanson frozen dinner team, it's hard to eat it, right?
Yeah.
And I found one Auburn fan finally that's like, I want them to make the tournament. And I was like, okay, well, you're the first one I've heard say that. And he goes, it's only because of recruiting. He goes, I think it'll hurt our recruiting if we don't make the tournament.
Yeah.
And he said, then you know what he followed up with? And he said, and I don't know if you've noticed, but we're going to have to recruit an entirely new roster.
Well, I think it's important that Stephen gets there based on the fact that if something was to happen next year, like that would give Auburn fans more ammunition. Not that ultimately they make the decision, but you know, if people want to push Stephen out, if he has a bad year next year, it's much easier if he's gone back-to-back years not making the NCAA tournament.
Okay, let's talk NCAA tournament after we remind you the show today being brought to you by the great folks at Inverness Country Club. LT, tell us about Inverness. I know Brown gets out there, looks dressed for golf today.
Lance, yes.
You are playing today.
Yes, you'll find me at Inverness Country Club.
Okay.
Beautiful afternoon we got.
Yeah,
coming.
it's going to be up in the 60s, so this is great golf weather.
Hey, by the way, did 36? That was what it was when I went to my truck today with did that catch anybody by surprise?
Slap you right in the face.
It's just, and what, next Tuesday, is it going to be in the 20s?
Monday and Tuesday are going to suck.
Yeah, it's going to be cold. But Brown's going to be out there today. The best days happen in Inverness. It got memberships that fit everyone. Think about this. You play a lot of golf. You can sell the wife and the family on. They've got the state-of-the-art fitness center. They've great dining opportunities, social membership with that great pool. Obviously, childcare is a massive plus there. You and your wife want to have a day of golf or tennis. You can leave the kid right there, safe on site while you're out playing. Everybody loves the Inverness Country Club. For more information and take a tour, iccalabama.com.
And Alexander Shinara, trial attorneys, bring you part of the show, too. He is the guy that is Birmingham born and bred. So when Alexander Shinara built a firm, he said, I want to build it in Birmingham. Well, he's done that in 25 years. He has added more than 150 attorneys now and more than 500 team members, and they've recovered more than $2 billion for their clients. That's what you get when you deal with Alexander Shinara trial attorneys. It is the top of the line, my man. And if you have a need, whether it is personal injury, you know he handles that, but also fire and storm damage, bad drug and device claims, workers' claims. He handles so much more than you even realize. So any legal matter you stumble into, Alexander Shinara is your guy. Go to Shinara.com. You don't pay a dime unless they win your case. Alexander Shinara Trial Attorneys, Shinara.com.
Okay, here's what bothers me about, before we hear Stephen make his case for Auburn still being in the NCAA tournament, here's what sometimes it almost makes me sick to my stomach to hear people this time of year talk about the bubble and such. Joe Lunardi in prime time on 2 nights ago saying, you know, I'm not even sure Auburn needs to win tomorrow, the way the bubble has, you know, fallen apart. And then Miami of Ohio loses. More on that in a second. And then Auburn loses a game that Lunardi had said, I'm not even sure Auburn needs to win tomorrow to be in the tournament.
Then what happened?
And then he says, Auburn no longer has a path to the tournament. How can you do that in less than 20, in about 12 hours? How can you go from, I'm not even sure Auburn has to win tomorrow, to Auburn no longer has a path?
Well, I'm not even sure they have to win tomorrow. It does leave the door a little bit open, and it was the fashion that they lost. And I said this yesterday on the show, I don't think they necessarily need to win, but they don't need to get blown out. Not that they got blown out, but the way that game played out, when you have at one point an 11-point lead and then a 10-point lead that deep, but then you ultimately lose by 10 to fall to 3-9 over your last 12 games, I still think they've got a fighting shot here. I think it is a legitimate coin flip. Lunardi is very, very good at this. I think on average he gets like 67 of the 68 teams right. But just the way that loss played out, I mean, outside, if Auburn doesn't make the NCAA tournament, this season couldn't have gone worse.
Absolutely.
Hard to imagine it going worse. You know, They did beat Florida in Gainesville. They have a win at St. John's. It could be worse if you didn't have all that. Brooks put out the graphic yesterday at Next Round Live, also on Twitter, Instagram, wherever you get us, that no team with an at-large bid has ever been in the NCAA tournament with more than 15 losses. Auburn has 16.
Yeah.
They would be the first at-large team to make the tournament with more than 15 losses. Here's Stephen Pearl on why this team still deserves a bid to the NCAA tournament.
Stephen, if you guys are not selected on Selection Sunday, have you had internal conversations about whether you play in the NIT or another postseason tournament?
No, have not, because, just if you look at our resume and if you compare us to the rest of the teams in the bubble, which, I'm happy to go over all these notes with you, we deserve to be in the tournament. I'll just go on a rant then. And here's the thing, what people have to understand is, it's my job to fight for my team. It's my job to be my team's advocate. And it's my job to, speak about all the things that this group's done. Some of the biggest, things that we're told to do in scheduling, especially during football season, is to get some of these primetime matchups for TV ratings and to compete with football. So that's why we play teams like Houston and Purdue and Arizona, and we go to the Players era, and we do all those things. So we scheduled a really hard, out of conference schedule. We had some really quality wins in that streak. If you look at, this tournament is a team of who you can beat. And if you look at, if we're going to look at 6 teams on the bubble right now with Texas, SMU, VCU, Miami of Ohio, Missouri, and New Mexico, we have more top 25 net wins than everyone in that group but Missouri. We have more top 50 wins than everyone in that group. We have 2 top 25 road neutral wins, which is more than everyone else on the bubble. We have more wins over the projected field than anyone else on the bubble. If you look at the major metrics that they use, net, KenPom, BPI, T-Rank, KPI, strength of record, and wins above the bubble, we are better than every team in that group in at least 5 out of the 7 categories, and in a couple of them 6 of the 7. If you look at our strength of schedule, overall, we're at 3, and out of conference, we're in 15. And if you look at the rest of that list, they're far below us as far as the schedule that we played. So, we did the things that were asked of us in scheduling, and with 10 new guys, that was probably a little aggressive on our part with 9 underclassmen. But our guys have some of the best wins in college basketball, and this team deserves to be in the tournament. It's a team that can win games in the tournament. And, I think they've done enough ultimately to have their name called on Selection Sunday.
I don't know that. So basically, essentially what Stephen Pearl is saying is we are being punished for playing too tough of a schedule. And we only played too tough of a schedule because you guys asked us to play too tough of a schedule.
Yeah.
And if we had not played too tough of a schedule, we would not be in this situation.
Well, Miami of Ohio is going to get a bid.
They are, but real quick, I don't necessarily agree with Stephen there because you're still 7-11 in the SEC. So if you had played a crap schedule, now I guess his argument would be, well, if we'd played a crap schedule, we wouldn't be 7-11 in the SEC. We wouldn't be beat up. We wouldn't be tired. I don't know if that's a good argument.
No, even if you're 7-11 in the SEC.
Not if you've played a bad schedule. That's going to be hard to overcome.
Yeah, well, not a bad, just a different schedule.
Well, I think he said it was 15th out of conference. I don't have that number in front of me. I think that's what he said. So let's say it's 30th out of conference. 7-11 going to overcome that? I don't know. But I'm saying you didn't exactly make a good campaign for yourself by going 7-11 in your league. That's your problem.
It's a legitimate point. I know it is his job to campaign for his team. It is so painful to listen to that, though. There is no chance they get in. He brought up Missouri. I don't care about the out of schedule. You're losing a lot of those games. Missouri beat them head-to-head. Missouri has an identical SEC record. And by the way, Missouri is acting like they want to play in this tournament a little bit more than Auburn. Oklahoma, much more deserving than the Auburn Tigers.
That's the problem.
Oklahoma is surging. More on them in a second. But Miami of Ohio is going to get a bid.
They are.
And they're going to get a bid because they were 31-0 against nobody.
It's a terrible schedule. Yep.
And Brown, you gave me where Where are they in the net?
In the net?
Which is what? Is it 93rd? Their strength of schedule is like 100.
Their strength of schedule is terrible.
134.
Yeah, but they still won all those games, and Auburn schedules these tough games. I mean, look, I know the analytics are there because we have to have them for whatever reason, but I don't understand the mentality of you played a really tough schedule. You lost all these games, but you played a tough schedule.
They didn't lose them all, though.
But they lost a lot of them.
They lost a lot of them, but they didn't lose them all, though.
Okay, you lost to Purdue, right?
Yes.
You lost to Arizona. You lost to Michigan. You lost to Houston.
Tell me who you beat, though. That's what it really comes down
you
to. Because Miami's best win.
You beat St. John's.
Miami of Ohio's best win is Akron.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. No, Miami, Ohio has got.
They have no business of being in, but
they
that's eating up a spot.
They're going to be in because they won all their games.
But they're more deserving than Auburn.
They are. They're not.
Neither one of them are deserving.
Auburn's a better team, but they're more deserving.
Neither one of them are deserving.
Yeah.
I mean, we could argue.
We can only hope that Jeff Goodman is right if Auburn sneaks in this and we somehow have that Miami, Ohio Auburn matchup, because I think everybody would be all in on that.
Where would you put your money? Where's the line?
What's the point spread, first of all?
Yeah.
Hey, the attitude of that Auburn team.
I'm kind of a
I mean,
it doesn't matter. That attitude would beat Miami, Ohio double digits.
I mean, they can't beat anybody right now.
Listen,
what's the point
and
spread?
they may not even be 11. Miami, Ohio may not be 11. They were talking yesterday.
Auburn probably 8.
All the basketball, the tournament people were talking Miami of Ohio not even going to Dayton being a 10 seed. I mean, sign me up for a freaking 7 versus Miami of Ohio.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
going to be in Vegas for that.
Good.
I'm taking whatever's in my wallet and I'm putting it on the 7 right there.
That 7-10 matchup, that figurative 7-10.
I am just saying there is no reason to have a regular season if you can play a bunch of games, lose a bunch of games, the other team wins all their games and they don't get in.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the losses. I'm talking about the wins.
So but that's what Steven is talking about, the losses. Like, man, we played this really, really difficult schedule. We didn't win any of these games.
Yeah, Miami, Ohio is 64th. They took on a quad 3 loss yesterday. I mean, that would have been detrimental to anybody else on the bubble. This Miami, Ohio team's getting a pass.
Yeah.
100%.
They're getting a pass because
but if teams like Stanford and Auburn and, other bubble teams right now were winning, Miami wouldn't get a pass.
They wouldn't.
They'd be out.
The only reason Miami is getting this pass is this bubble is historically awful. Historically awful.
Did we do the
We did not. I've got it right here.
How do you say that?
I've never known how to say it.
Ivan Maya.
Evan Maya, I don't know.
Yeah, he has some statistics to back up how bad this bubble is. It's an old running rock star joke. We used to talk about how soft the bubble was, but statistically it's really bad.
Yeah, he's one of these basketball analytic guys that people go crazy over. And he says, based on his analytics, it's not opinion, this is analytics, it's the worst bubble ever. Based on how much worse the average bubble team is compared to the average top team. So in the last 15 years, 2026 is the worst bubble of all time. So this is historically, and it has played out this way. I mean, we have sat here and watched this because of Auburn's position here. Anybody that needs wins to get in this thing finds ways to lose, and Auburn did it yesterday. And by the way, Miami, Ohio did it yesterday. They lost to a bad team yesterday. That's a quad 3 loss. Frank Martin can coach them all he wants, and Frank Martin's been a good coach before. But that's a quad 3 loss. I mean, that's a terrible loss. It would have been fatal to anybody else on the bubble, and it would have been fatal to Miami, Ohio, except for this bubble is so bad.
No, it's because we're giving them a pass because of what Land says. They were 31-0.
I agree.
31-0 against nobody.
They wouldn't get this pass if there were quality teams trying to get in this thing.
Yeah.
More quality than
but it's not an Auburn thing.
But if they play top 25 teams, it wouldn't be much worse than Auburn was against top 25s.
They wouldn't sniff a win at Florida. They wouldn't sniff a win against St. John's.
Auburn was 3-9 though with that roster.
Yeah, 3-9.
3-9 against ranked teams. That's awful.
That is bad.
Some of those losses are Michigan, Arizona, who nobody's beaten.
Miami,
Purdue.
Miami, Ohio be 0-12 in those games. So Auburn was 3-9. Miami, Ohio be 0-12. I mean, that's the way that would have played out.
Yeah.
But
and it's not just an Auburn thing. I mean, Oklahoma more deserving to be in than Miami of Ohio.
Yeah, but Oklahoma cares right now. Oklahoma's playing their asses
Georgia,
off.
A&M, Bucky and them deserves to be in more than Miami of Ohio. Anybody that's on the Texas deserves to be in more than Miami of Ohio. Any of these teams that are on the bubble that may get left out deserves to be in more than Miami of Ohio.
Well, I will tell you, if Auburn does get in, and I think they've still got a really good chance. If I'm an athletic director, football coach, you're not playing anybody quality out of conference. College basketball, you're playing as many quality teams as you can because you don't have to beat them.
Mark Godfrey took a 17-15 Alabama team to the
That's
tournament
right.
one year because of scheduling. Because because doing what you said the year before, I think they were 22-5 and got left out.
Yep.
Which again, that is one of the dumb things about college basketball.
But he had a bad conference record. I mean, that's what got him left out. If he'd just had a good conference record,
maybe they were 22-11 or something like that.
No, they were better than that. You had it right, but they weren't and 5. I'll tell you what it was.
You know what? That team would have gotten at large in this year's bracket.
They were 25-11, but they were 8-8 in conference.
Yeah, 25-11.
If it had been this year, they'd have easily been at 8-8 in a power conference.
Okay, one more thing before we leave Auburn and look at the new bracketology. Brought to you by our friends at Bojangles. It was Bojangles serves up hot food. Bruce Pearl was hot on the sidelines yesterday. We'll talk about that.
He needs that Alaskan pollock sandwich, man. The Bojangler, that'll settle him down. That Alaskan pollock fish fillet with Bo's seasoning. The deluxe comes with lettuce, pickle, tomato, cheese, and tartar sauce. You can get that for a limited time at Bojangles. You can also start your day putting up threes with that triple-double biscuit. Triple the protein with the sausage, egg, and bacon, and double the cheese right there on a scratch-made Bojangles biscuit. And all their scratch-made breakfast items, including those ham biscuits, 2 for $5. You can try with that brand-new Bojangles iced coffee available right now at Bojangles. And end the day or end any meal with that great strawberry cobbler for a limited time at Bojangles, where you can always make it Bo time.
Bruce's passion, we've seen him take his shirt off and cheer on Pat Summitt's women's team at Tennessee. And there's cameras everywhere, man. This Bruce yelling at the officials yesterday, some people were saying it was other fans, but it was not. He's working the officials.
I don't get this.
Yeah, it looks like a Little League dad, honestly.
I mean, I don't get that at all.
If you're Bruce Pearl, man, you're a public figure.
I would be in a suite if I wanted to be at the games. And if not, I probably would be on the couch somewhere.
And I know he's a passionate guy, and it's probably harder to watch your son coach than to coach yourself. But, man, you got to be careful.
Yeah, 100%. It's hard. It's got to be harder to watch Steven go through this than it was for him to go through it or to coach
I agree,
it.
yeah.
And to sit there, and in fairness, Steven's a first-year coach. He's probably not getting the same calls as Rick Barnes. You know what I mean?
100% he's not.
Yeah,
But,
he's earning his stripes.
Yeah.
And look, I'll say this: Bruce has been consistent because when we were at Boutwell, when games didn't even count in the standings, I thought it was an uncomfortable look, where he's basically on the sidelines coaching.
Yeah, it's. I mean, especially if he's going to be an analyst for who's he working for? Turner,
yeah.
I mean, especially if he's going to be a Turner analyst. I mean, yelling at officials like that is. I don't know, man. He's walking. He's having to walk a difficult line. He's having to watch his son coach, and it hasn't gone well. And his son's catching a ton of criticism. And he's coaching a roster that you built and a schedule that you built, and it has not gone well for him. So that's got to be frustrating enough. And he loves Auburn, and he wants Auburn basketball to do well, and he wants Stephen Pearl to do well. And nobody in the world blames him for that. But then he's also got this other side gig for Turner where I got to sit there and talk about these other teams. If I'm doing that, I mean, it's kind of a weird look.
Everybody made a big deal about his Miami of Ohio comments earlier.
Well, he backtracked on those.
He did, but he was exactly right about them, in my opinion. Lance disagrees. He backtracked on that. He says Miami of Ohio deserves to be in now. Here's the latest bracketology. Our Michelson look at the bracketology here from Lunardi as we start play here in about 30 minutes in some tournaments. Oklahoma, LT, has now passed Auburn in the first 4 out.
You guys agree with Oklahoma over Auburn?
Yes,
right?
I do, 100%.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep, Oklahoma's more deserving than Auburn.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm not saying Auburn deserves to be in. Those teams, Oklahoma, Auburn, I don't know enough about New Mexico and San Diego State, but Oklahoma and Auburn deserve to be in over Miami of Ohio. Texas deserves to be in. SMU had an injury in January, lost 5 games. Since then, they've won 6 of 9 with their new roster. So I think SMU deserves to be in over Miami of Ohio. Even if you put them in, there's no way he's got a Miami of Ohio last team with a bye. You can't give that team a bye.
Okay, but do you agree?
Let them at least play into the tournament, in the Browns tournament.
Does the winner of the MAC tournament deserve to get into this tournament?
They get the automatic bid. Everybody gets an automatic bid.
They don't deserve, but they got an automatic bid.
That's just, I mean, it's dumb. So what does it say about the regular season? And here's what I would say. How often do 14, 15, 16 loss at-large teams get in and make any noise. We see mid-majors every year make noise.
VCU was in their mid-major, but they had a lot of losses, and they went from.
I mean, I think they had like 5 or 6 losses.
Oh, I thought it was more than that. I thought it was double-digit.
I mean,
I'm just saying it doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah. I would say, I mean, look, none of those teams deserve to be in that we were talking about right there, that group that Lunardi is trying to figure out which ones are going to get in. This may be the hardest Lunardi's ever had it because all those teams have massive, massive flaws. That
See, I think Lunardi talks to people that are on.
Oh, he may. I don't know.
But if Miami Ohio doesn't get in, why do you even play a regular season?
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, there's only been 3 teams in the history of college basketball that have gone through the regular season undefeated.
Yeah.
And they're one of them.
Who are the other ones?
Kentucky and Wichita State.
Okay.
Yeah.
Better schedules.
No, I get that, but I'm still with all the shitty schedules, and there's shitty schedules in a ton of these mid-majors every single year. Nobody's ever done it.
Yeah.
Like Liberty ran away with their league, lost in their tournament. They don't deserve to be in. I mean, I'm sorry. That's what
But they didn't go undefeated in the regular season.
They didn't. They didn't. They played some really good out-of-conference games.
Auburn paid millions and millions of dollars to a lot of players, and they lost 16 games.
Yeah. I would the other thing on the Lunardi, by the way, let's don't blow past the fact that Alabama, and I don't know where he had him in the most recent one, but
this was
I think it was
no.
Right?
I meant the one before that. They have slipped just a little bit on the 3 line. They are now last on the 3 line, according to Lunardi.
Yeah, here's the most recent one. They had made it up to where they were second on the 3 line.
Yep.
And they're now third on the 3 line.
None of that
fourth
is,
on the 3 line.
Yep. None of that is Alabama's fault. They have not played a game since Saturday.
But if they do what they should do
I think if
against
they win
Ole Miss,
today, I think if
they
they
are
win
locked
today,
in as a 3.
I would agree because Gonzaga is finished playing, who is in front of Alabama.
Yeah, Purdue hasn't done. Purdue beat them head-to-head.
Yep, that's going to be your tricky one.
Yeah,
if it comes down to it.
But what happens, remember, you can be moved a whole seed line to meet the metrics, the bylaws of the bracket, which involves rematches and conference affiliation and that kind of stuff. So you could be a 3 and be a 4, and things like that. So that could impact Purdue and Alabama and Kansas and Virginia as well. But Alabama plays today. We'll talk about the Tide as they finally get into action after the double bye with Florida, who has the first game against Kentucky. We'll set the table for Nashville coming up. Not a lot of bracket impact games today. Probably the biggest one is New Mexico versus San Diego State. Both bubble teams, both setting out for one of those. A win today is going to give them a little momentum going into Selection Sunday. As we head to break here, the show brought to you by our friends at Michelson. That's a live look at the bracket. You had a chance to hang out with the Michelson folks last night.
I did. Great people. I got to see Dr. Michelson. I got to see Dr. Jen Michelson. I got to see Amy. Fantastic people. And they want to remind you, if you wear the contacts or glasses, just make the simple phone call that I made 2 decades ago to find out if LASIK is right for you. 205-969-8100. I got the procedure done in 2003. I had the 2200 vision. I was legally blind without the aid of contacts. 2015 vision. It only took 12 minutes for both eyes. Make the call that I made. Again, ask for Amy. 205-969-8100. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
And let's go racing, boys. It's time to get back to Talladega for the Jack Links 500. Friday, April 24th through Sunday, April 26th. Doubleheader racing on Saturday. The Cup guys hit the track on Sunday for the Jack Links 500. You got to witness the people watching you get at Talladega, the unpredictable speedway racing, and then that door-to-door, bumper-to-bumper draft that you get. It is Talladega. There's no place like it. TalladegaSuperspeedway.com to get your tickets, or 877-GO-TO-DEGA. It's time to go racing. The Jack Links 500, Sunday, April 26th. Tickets right now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at ScottForresterTV.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
To everyone who craves a fresh meal made just for you, let our team member Jacob share what's special about Culver's.
In Wisconsin, our food comes from the heart, and taking the time to handcraft your meal with care is how we've always done it at Culver's. It's why your Butterburger doesn't touch the grill until after you order.
Come to Culver's and let us serve you a Butterburger, made special just for you. From Wisconsin with love, welcome to Delicious.
At Central State Bank, we are large enough to serve you and small enough to know you. Manage your money with ease, whether it's mobile banking, hassle-free checking, competitive loans, business solutions, or personalized financial advice. We're your hometown bank with big-time service. Visit us today and experience banking made simple, because at Central State Bank, you come first.
Member FDIC.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
When you crave activity like we do, you belong in the Roback family. Get the best golf wear, hoodies, and active wear for men and women at Roback.com. Use promo code TNR20 to get 20% off your order. That's Roback.com, promo code TNR20.
Birmingham's fastest party returns to Barber Motorsports Park March 27th through 29th. Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix, powered by AmFirst Experience. 3 days of high-speed action featuring the fastest drivers in the world from the IndyCar Series. Enjoy the Kids Zone, food trucks, beer garden, fan zone, and more. The Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix. Kids 15 and under get in free. Get your tickets now.
Sterling and the fine folks at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster want to welcome you in for a great lunch or dinner starting at 11 a.m. every day. Chicken that's brined overnight and cooked to order, and the taste of the Delta with those Delta recipe tamales. Champy's is perfect for all your tailgating needs this football season. You can also choose Champy's for your next party, wedding, or birthday. Great food, great people. Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster, and everything online at champyschicken.com.
Ain't no party like a Dega party. The noise, the chaos, the will to survive. The biggest, boldest, brashest, fastest, and most intimidating track in all of NASCAR. Only one place calls that home. At Talladega, anything can happen. And at this super speedway, everything usually does. Hell yeah, boys! NASCAR weekend at Talladega Super Speedway, April 24th through the 26th. Get your tickets now at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com.
It's bow time. The Bojangles Chicken Rice Bowl is back. Get dirty rice, slow-cooked Cajun pintos, cheese, and your choice of chicken for just $7.49. But order now. It's only here for a limited time. It's bow time. It's bow time. The Bojangles Chicken Rice Bowl is back. Get dirty rice, slow-cooked Cajun pintos, cheese, and your choice of chicken for just $7.49. But order now. It's only here for a limited time. It's bow time.
LT's going to tell us about Hoover Toyota, and we'll do a Players' Championship update before we set the table for Alabama. But in basketball last night, SGA broke a 63-year record held by Wilt Chamberlain. He had his 127th straight 20-point or more game, and he didn't do it against Miami of Ohio's schedule. He did it against the Boston Celtics, where he had 35, and they win at 104-102. 20-plus points in 127 straight games. You think to yourself, well, the best player in the NBA should be scoring 20-plus every night if you're the best player on your team. But that record stood up for 63 years.
The consistency is beyond amazing. And when you watch him going back last year, especially in the postseason, but this year, again last night against Celtics, he doesn't miss in clutch situations. I mean, he creates his own shot at any spot on the court, and he doesn't miss these shots down the stretch.
I see that record, and I'm like, how did Jordan have a night where he didn't score 20?
That's what I'm thinking.
20 is so small for Michael Jordan.
That's right.
Or
Steph Curry.
Or Kobe.
But it could have been an
LeBron.
injury. It could have been a cramp. It could have been where they're just not
game
playing
early.
close to 40 minutes.
20 points. I'm like, how did Jordan not have that many games with 20 points?
63 years. That covers Kareem.
I know.
When did Kareem actually play and not score 20?
Yeah.
It's insanity. Hoover Toyota brings us a look at the Players' Championship where you can be camped out watching the Island Hole down at the TPC Sawgrass. Is that right, Brown?
That is right, Jim. TPC Sawgrass.
Yeah. Tell us about Hoover Toyota. We'll look at the leaderboard.
Stop in Highway 150. Go see Scott, Harold, Kim, all the fine folks there. You can view their inventory and great pricing. Go to hoovertoyota.com.
Sepp Straka, the Birmingham, Alabama resident, lives right here in our fine city as your leader at 8 under par after an opening 67. He's now 3 under through 7 holes today.
By the way, you told me to play him.
I did tell Lance to play
my 14 pool, which I'm already dead and buried.
You're dead and buried. I told you to play Sepp. A tradition unlike any other. I'm going to start doing this for everybody, Jim, now that we got Kalshi and all that. My last cut on DraftKings. Every major, I'll give you my last cut. This week was Corey Connors, my last cut. 7 under par. He's in second. I could have had Sepp Straka and Corey Connors on DraftKings.
You
right
pull
now,
for a WD later
Yes,
today?
I do. I pulled Corey Connors to hit in the water on the 17th. So Sepp Straka, your leader at 8 under par over Corey Connors.
That is our update from the Players' Championship. They finished round 1 today, and then they get to round 2. They had some inclement weather yesterday. At the SEC basketball tournament, Kentucky beat Missouri yesterday. Tennessee beat Auburn. We talked about that. Ole Miss, boy, Chris Beard, who get him in a tournament, beat Georgia 76-72. More on them in a second. And then Oklahoma beat Bucky 83-63. Before we talk Bama, where are we on Bucky and A&M? Are they... Can you show me the brackets again? There's the SEC tournament bracket in Nashville, where we stand right now. Help me with memory there, Forrester. Is Bucky's team in trouble? No, they're nowhere on there, are they? They're comfortably in.
Yeah, I think Bucky's in good shape.
Yeah, I think they're comfortably in because you look at 11-7 in conference. And I think when you start talking about whether it's Auburn or Oklahoma or both, it's 7-11 in conference getting in. I mean, it's going to be difficult for A&M not to get in.
Yeah, I can't remember Brownie Dayton having an SEC flavor like this, but there's Missouri, Texas, Oklahoma, Auburn.
We had Texas a couple of years ago, I think.
Was that before they were in our league?
I think it was the first year in our league with Rodney Terry, I think.
Okay, so here there's...
But not a lot.
I mean, we could have 2... Technically, maybe 3 SEC teams in Dayton.
Yeah, I mean, Jerry Palm just updated his. He's got Texas and Missouri both playing there. Texas facing Santa Clara, Missouri facing VCU. He does not have Auburn even among his first 4 out. So he's been a little more down on Auburn than Lunardi has. I was looking for A&M, though, Jim, to answer your question with him. He's got them as a 10 seed facing 7 seed Villanova. Yeah. So it's comfortably in.
Lunardi a little higher.
Yeah, comfortably in as a 10 seed there in CBS's bracket.
Okay, so for Alabama today, they get Ole Miss, who LT pointed out earlier has now played as a 15 seed, next to last team in the SEC. They've played their way 2 wins in 2 days, and now they get up-tempo Alabama. I'll say this first, though. Chris Beard's defensive scheming has caused problems for Nate Oates' team at times. You've got to be very patient and not throw yourself into a defensive problem. And then Dia, if he's got his legs under him, is a heck of an inside outside player.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I was going to say if you could pick your winner from that game, I think you would have picked Ole Miss. I don't think they just faced Georgia and really had their hands full defensively against Georgia. Just could not get stops to get them. And top of the fact,
Catchings had 32. I mean, he had a career high. I just don't see Georgia playing to that level. I thought it was a good draw for Alabama, whether it's Georgia or Ole Miss, personally. Okay. Just because I think Ole Miss is running out of gas.
I think and that's the key here, and I think you hit it perfectly, Dunaway. The way Alabama likes to play at tempo, boy, third game in 3 days. It's a tough time to catch a team that likes to play at tempo, and that's what you're getting with Alabama. So, I think this is a pretty good setup. If this game were in Oxford, Mississippi on a random Wednesday night, feels a little different. In Nashville, with them having to play their 3rd game in 3 days, you got to feel good. And the point spread reflects that. I mean, Alabama's 10.5, 11.5 point favorite in this thing.
And Beard does go deeper than a lot of coaches at this point in the season. I mean, he had 8 guys play quality minutes, 10 total guys play yesterday in a really tight game. So, his guys may be not as tired as some of the other teams because he does have a deeper bench. But I still think, it would be remarkable if Ole Miss wins this game.
Big picture for Alabama, comfortably in the NCAA tournament. Nate Oates, though, Alabama's magical run to the Final Four started about this time. Well, really, it started when they got to the NCAA tournament. They started playing better defense. Last year, the team started to play better defense about this time. Here's Nate Oates on if Alabama's defense is improving this year about this time.
Yeah, defensively, what have you liked the last couple weeks, and where do you still want to see improvement?
I like our defensive playmaking, and like we're getting more steals, deflections. We're more aggressive, more active. I think we can even more to it. I think we got to do a better job at the point of the attack, meaning our guards up front, of really controlling the other team's guards, not getting beat on blow-bys, having a little bit better presence and ball screen coverage. So there's, look, no coach is ever going to be completely satisfied with where you're at, but I'm seeing growth in areas we're emphasizing, which is great. You go back to the two runs deep into March we've had these last 2 years, Final Four and an Elite Eight. I think both those years we got better in March on defense, and we're significantly better in our run in March than we had been during the year, and I expect to see the same this year.
I wonder why that is.
I don't know. It's a good question why all of a sudden you've been an average or bad. I mean, the Final Four team was a bad defensive team by Alabama standards, maybe not nationally. I mean, they're probably in the top third nationally, but bad by Alabama standards. And just all of a sudden,
double-edged sword. I mean, look, it's good that you're starting to play defense, but at the same time, you're like, does it really take us getting to March where we're in a one-and-done situation to turn the corner?
But there again, the best combo they had, offense and defense, was the overall number 1 seed team that didn't make it through the Sweet 16. So figure that one out, right? With probably the best single-season player ever to play basketball at Alabama, and they couldn't get through the Sweet 16. So I think sometimes this stuff, you just can't figure it out, man. It's literally why they call it March Madness. There are some small things that make sense, but there's a lot of things you're like, I can't figure this one out. I can't figure out how an Alabama team that has got one of the worst defenses analytically, statistically in the Nate Oates era is the one that went to the Final Four.
And interesting, maybe another advantage for Alabama in this tournament, if they beat Ole Miss tonight, they get a couple hours extra rest because, remember, we flip to day games tomorrow. After the night session tonight, Oklahoma and Arkansas will play an up-tempo game at 8:30. Bama plays at 6 tonight. Bama, if they beat Ole Miss, gets the winner of Oklahoma and Arkansas. Advantage for these day teams, deservingly so for number 1 overall seed Florida, who gets Kentucky now after Kentucky has played 2 days. And then Tennessee and Vandy at 2:30. They'll play the early game tomorrow as they flip to the day schedule tomorrow, setting up for the early Sunday championship game. Interesting at the SEC basketball tournament. You can play that and the other tournaments going on. Lance'sLock.com. Lance'sLock.com, brought to you by our friends at Hemphill.
Yeah, another winning day yesterday. We were 6-3, college hoops. Jump on board and win with us. We've got 5 plays in college hoops tonight. We've got 2 in the NBA, 7 total plays, free play every single day at Lance'sLock.com. We'll have that tournament package we will be releasing next week. Jump on board and win with us. Always brought to you by our friends at Hemphill Services. Look, it's hot and cold over the next week plus. It has been that way. Temperature jumping back and forth. You want to make sure the heating and the cooling, any issues that arise in your home or business, they're ready to serve you. Also, plumbing. Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there awaiting your call. Trust the name Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for any and all of these issues. Hard to stop a train, 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
You ready to go see America? Do it in an RV from Johnston RV Center. I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. They're always online also at johnstonrvcenter.com. When you're there, you can shop by price range. You can look at RVs that are less than, say, $35,000. Or you could say, nope, I want to go high end. You can do that as well, and any price range in between. Or you can shop by model. The park model, maybe the big motor home, maybe a toy hauler. I mean, whatever the case might be, you could shop right there at Johnston RV Center. Everything they sell that is new or qualifying pre-owned comes with a lifetime warranty from RV Warranty Forever. That's when you shop at Johnston RV Center, and always online, johnstonrvcenter.com.
All right, before we jump into a little football here, I don't play the stock market. I'll say this up front. I wonder how we're feeling today at the offices of ASB Glass Floors.
Not good.
In the middle of the Big 12 tournament, in the most talked about floor. It's not the first time we've used these LG floors before. We've used them for NBA All-Star games and some other things. but right in the middle of the Big 12 tournament, where the main ESPN crew was stationed, because this was where the deepest tournament was. That crew was in Nashville last year for the SEC tournament. High profile on ESPN. Brett Yormark and the folks at the Big 12 decided to ditch the much talked about LG floor, and they're putting in the hardwood floor overnight. And Jeff Goodman says good riddance on social media there, as they take up the glass floor, the television floor, and put in an old school hardwood for the semifinals and finals. Slippage, a slick feeling, and players not feeling comfortable on it was the reason why.
Well, I mean, watching some of this Big 12, I mean, guys are falling left and right, and I just don't know how you don't understand or know what this surface is going to do before you actually roll it out.
It's literally a glass floor, right? I mean, am I wrong about that? I mean, that's what they call it.
You're playing on a TV screen.
Yeah, but wouldn't you assume, though, that you would have this, and you've got to be able to sell Yormark and the Big 12 on this, and all the coaches for the safety of their players? Hey, we've had run-throughs. We've had pickup games. It's not that
you're not our pilot. You're not our pilot program.
We've seen it in the All-Star game,
we have,
NBA All-Star game, and some others.
But it had to be a different, because I would think at that point, though, the surface has got to be a little bit different somewhat, because NBA players bitch more than anybody.
Oh, they really do.
But,
I mean,
it was the NBA All-Star game. I'm not sure how much they were really cutting and stopping.
Giving effort.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
they were playing February Alabama defense.
Yeah, I saw Scott Van Pelt this morning. I thought
that's a look at the seams, by the way. That apparently you could actually feel. I've never been on one of these, but it's basically like you're putting a bunch of TV screens together.
Yeah. Now,
shouldn't be able to fill a seam on a basketball court.
I agree. From the beginning, we said this was superfluous. That why even go to this much effort? What are you gaining from it? I mean, the Big 12, this is one of the best seasons they've ever had.
Right. I mean, it's not like you need people going, man, have you seen that Big 12 tournament?
I'm gonna go watch Arizona play. Well, of course you're going to watch Arizona. I mean, Dunaway made the point the other day. You can gauge who ESPN thinks is the biggest tournament by where they send Billis and Schulman, and they're where?
The Big 12.
They're at the Big 12. I mean, that tells you ESPN's like, we think the Big 12 is our best tournament that we've got right now.
Well, I mean, you look at the games today. Number 7, Iowa State against number 2, Arizona, and number 14, Kansas against number 5, Houston.
Yeah,
that's your semifinals, and that is great basketball.
Not even a vintage Kansas team, and you've still got a great Big 12 tournament. So it's a fantastic tournament with or without the floor. Like, we were watching the games in the studio. The three-point line lights up red when somebody hits a three. Don't need that as a viewer. I know it's a three-pointer.
Yeah.
If I can't tell where the guy's standing, I see the referee running back down the floor holding 2 hands up. Or if I don't see any of that, I see them add 3 instead of 2 on the scoreboard.
Yeah, very, very gimmicky.
Yeah, none of this was needed.
Yeah, interesting stuff there in basketball. We'll get to football now. Our Innisfree countdown, 169 days from college football. We're in the middle of a lot of spring football. We'll hear from Alabama in a second. Our friends at Innisfree want to celebrate St. Patrick's Day with you starting today from open until they're done with it. $1 green Bud Light draft. We were down there yesterday. They've got plenty of it. So go on down to Innisfree today and get a $1 green Bud Light draft for you. Saturday, they open before the parade down there, and then they'll have bagpipers to celebrate the tradition. The Red Bull DJ truck, live music, all sponsored by our wonderful friends at Bud Light. And on Sunday, they open at 3 o'clock for Bangers and Bangers with Bangers. It's a lot of bangers going on. DJ Berry Bangers and hot dogs. Closed on Monday, whereas LT says they'll hose the place out. And then open again at 6 a.m. on Tuesday for Kegs and Eggs with bagpipers and food trucks as well. It's all with our friends at Innisfree, the Innisfree countdown at 169 days.
Do you like throwing out unchecked facts sometimes? Because I've got an unchecked fact that I feel great about. I bet this is the week that more Americans shit green than any other week.
I don't think it makes it into the system that way.
It does, though. Have you never like purple Kool-Aid? I remember used to turn your shit green.
Green? Purple Kool-Aid would turn it green?
Purple and brown makes green? No.
Yeah. I don't remember that.
I have some insight on this.
Oh, no, Brooks.
When I was at football camp during the summer times, we would consume a lot of Gatorade, and it would turn our poop green.
Okay. I'll take it.
Regardless of the flavor.
I don't study mine that closely.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that dye in the green beer.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, there you go.
I've never drank enough beer to have the food coloring that's in there make a difference. Trying to make.
You think somebody will at the Innisfree Irish Pub today?
Yes, 100% they will. $1.
Trying to make a difference in the offense in Tuscaloosa is Ryan Grubb. Second year now in Tuscaloosa with Kalen DeBoer. Gets a lot of questions, especially after Mark Schlereth's interview on our show yesterday. Gets a lot of question about the run game, and he says it's not just the run game they're trying to improve.
I wouldn't limit bad calls to run game. I mean, I think there's plenty of good calls to make out there, and yes, certainly we go through every aspect of the game plan, and where you can run the ball more, where those hits happen, what you did right or wrong in the red zone. So yeah, absolutely, that has to be part of it. And I think, the reality is when you look at it and you're that poor at running the football, obviously you got to put a lot of attention back into that and see if what's the reasons, how much of it's personnel, how much of it's scheme, and then, own the losses and get better at it.
Yeah, so he gets a lot about the questions about the run game. Is there pressure on Ryan Grubb this year? I mean, he and Kalen DeBoer seem to be connected.
Yeah, I'll let you get to the point that probably, puts the most pressure on Ryan Grubb.
Well, I would just say, Lance, like we did coach approval ratings, and the head coach is always going to be the focus. Like, if the economy sucks, the president gets blamed, not the Secretary of the Treasury or, the economic advisors, right? That's who's always going to get the blame is the president. If you did this full staff approval ratings, I think Ryan Grubb would be dead last. Like
now that you fired the offensive line coach.
Yeah,
he was
Grubb,
number one.
And Grubb might have been the face of that too, though, Jim. He might have worn that one too. But Kane Womack, I think people have come around on Kane and defense plays pretty well most of the time. Did against Indiana, but nothing worked against Indiana. But I think Ryan Grubb, among Alabama fans, even those that are still like I'm on Kalen DeBoer's side, Ryan Grubb needs to have a good year. And it's going to be reflected most in rush yards per game.
Well, and I think really what magnifies it is you get fired from Seattle, Clint Kubiak comes in, they win a Super Bowl, they're a top 10 rushing team, and now Clint Kubiak is a head coach. And Ryan Grubb, the offense, I'm not going to say it struggled as much because it didn't struggle as much as it did in year one under Kalen DeBoer and Jalen Milroe. But the good news is, you look at this. This was still a team that won 11 games, played for an SEC championship, won a playoff game, and was a top 10 postseason team, and they couldn't run the football at all. So if you figure that out, how good could this team be?
Yeah, if you ran it.
Refresh my memory. Was Mike McDonald outspoken about Ryan Grubb this past year?
Behind the scenes, I think so.
Behind the scenes,
Yeah.
so not publicly.
No, not publicly.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's important.
But behind the scenes, yeah.
Alabama cranks back up spring football after the weekend break here, and a lot of focus on the offense and really not a lot on the quarterback battle. Everybody feels comfortable with whomever the quarterback is, Austin Mack right there, Keelan Russell wearing the jersey 12. Everyone's comfortable with the quarterback. They're just wanting the schemes to be right and the run game to be a little bit better, working on that in Tuscaloosa. When we come back, Todd Fuhrman joins us from Vegas. Show being brought to you by some great folks, including the O'Neill brothers at sleephomealabama.com.
One thing you've got to get is quality sleep in your life. You're not getting it, so bad for your health. Whether you're on a CPAP machine or not, maybe you need to get checked out, get that proper sleep study. Our friends at O'Neill Medical and CPAP Plus can help out with that. But if you do have the CPAP gear, you need to make sure it is updated, it is clean, and they have the best CPAP gear with personal service you can trust. 5 locations throughout the state, 3 right here in Birmingham, Pelham, Highway 280 in Trussville, hundreds of 5-star Google reviews. Trust CPAP Plus with all your CPAP needs. Stop by today. You're going to find the best service and equipment all in stock, ready for you. CPAP Plus, every night matters. For more information, o'neillmed.com.
And our friends at Urology Centers, Alabama.com. If you're ready for the ultimate excuse to kick back, relax, and enjoy the biggest games this March, schedule your vasectomy right now at Urology Centers of Alabama and recover just in time to catch every buzzer beater from the comfort of your own couch. It's quick, it's easy, and it's the perfect excuse for a few days of relaxation. Call 205-930-0920 or visit UrologyCentersAlabama.com to book your appointment today. Urology Centers of Alabama, your health, your game plan.
The ultimate weekend in Birmingham returns March 27 through 29. The Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix back at Barber Motorsports Park, bringing big energy, big crowds, and unforgettable moments. More than a race, a full day of excitement with family fun, great food, music, and world-class IndyCar competition. Make plans to be there for one of Birmingham's biggest weekends of the year. Get your tickets now for the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix. Furman is next.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
To everyone who craves a fresh meal made just for you, let our team member Jacob share what's special about Culver's.
In Wisconsin, our food comes from the heart, and taking the time to handcraft your meal with care is how we've always done it at Culver's. It's why your Butterburger doesn't touch the grill until after you order.
Come to Culver's and let us serve you a Butterburger made special just for you. From Wisconsin with love, welcome to Delicious.
At Central State Bank, we are large enough to serve you and small enough to know you. Manage your money with ease, whether it's mobile banking, hassle-free checking, competitive loans, business solutions, or personalized financial advice. We're your hometown bank with big-time service. Visit us today and experience banking made simple, because at Central State Bank, you come first.
Member FDIC.
Looking for the ultimate weekend in Birmingham? The Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix is back at Barber Motorsports Park, March 27th through 29th, bringing big energy, big crowds, and unforgettable moments. It's more than a race. It's a full day of excitement, family fun, food, music, and world-class competition, all set on one of the most beautiful venues in racing. The Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix at Barber Motorsports Park. Get your tickets now.
Catch up on all of today's Next Round on demand through the podcast platform of your choice. Apple, Spotify, iHeart, or Google Podcasts. Wherever you listen, always like, follow, subscribe, and turn on automatic downloads so you never miss any part of the Next Round.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service. Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Ain't no party like a Dega party. The noise, the chaos, the will to survive. The biggest, boldest, brashest, fastest, and most intimidating track in all of NASCAR. Only one place calls that home. At Talladega, anything can happen. And at this super speedway, everything usually does.
Hell yeah, boys!
NASCAR weekend at Talladega Super Speedway, April 24th through the 26th. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
It's bow time. The Bojangles Chicken Rice Bowl is back. Get dirty rice, slow-cooked Cajun pintos, cheese, and your choice of chicken for just $7.49. But order now. It's only here for a limited time. It's bow time. It's bow time. The Bojangles Chicken Rice Bowl is back. Get dirty rice, slow-cooked Cajun pintos, cheese, and your choice of chicken for just $7.49. But order now. It's only here for a limited time. It's bow time.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
We'll talk about what everybody's talking about with Todd Fuhrman in a second, the World Baseball Classic and the Fighting Italians. Mamma mia. All coming up in just a second. I want to remind you, at Walk-Ons, you can get the great Cajun cuisine at Walk-Ons. Great locations in our area, out in Trussville. Unbelievable. Right there at Stadium Trace off Highway 150 and I-459. Unbelievable. In our hometown one, Tattersall Park, just off Highway 280. Unbelievable. Great burgers, great wings, bone-in and boneless wings, and the draft beer collection. Wall-to-wall TVs, wall-to-wall drafts. It is unbelievable. Walk-On Sports Bistro, game on at Walk-Ons.
You can utilize your SAP button for this segment not to be in full Italian. You can get the English subtitles, but Todd Fuhrman joins us now. Dunaway described this as you having to do the walk of shame like you're a sorority girl, Fuhrman, that you doubted him on his Italy pick.
Oh, wait. We got a connection problem here. What is happening?
We can't have
a bet today. So go ahead, Dunaway. You can take your victory lap if you want for Team Italy and their upset win over Team USA in pool play.
Yeah, no, I only really truthfully expected them to beat Brazil and Great Britain. I had looked ahead, sneak peeked at the schedule. I never thought they would beat Team USA, and then I never thought they'd beat Mexico. 4-0 as they get to this thing. I'm in Vegas next week. As a trade-off for me never bringing up Italy baseball again, can you text me your power ranking so I can just use that instead of bugging you the entire time I'm in Vegas?
For college basketball, I'm sure we could find some creative way that I can relay a little bit of information to you there. In terms of Team Italy and Vinny Pasquantino's power surge, who knew that espresso in the dugout could provide such a boost for what we've seen from Team Italy? But also, guys, what I've noticed, it tends to matter if the opposing manager understands what's at stake and can illustrate the rules for his players before guaranteeing that they've already punched their ticket to the next round when it very much hadn't been the case.
The MLB Network is embarrassing. They are going all in on he misspoke, he was misquoted. Well,
he works for him.
Well, I know that, but
we
it's
would
just
do the same for each other up here.
Let it go. I don't know. Up here, we'd probably just own it at some point, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, you guys have worked together long enough to trust me. Nothing is going to slip by the three of you that if anyone steps out of line, I expect the other two of you to keep that third soldier exactly where he needs to be, humble and down in the ranks if he misspeaks about any of these topics.
Just real quick before we move on from Dunaway's newfound hot streak here. I'm in Vegas the week after him. Will they be able to keep the lights on once Dunaway leaves? Should I expect the lights to still be on?
I'm bringing all the money back.
Should I expect the lights to still be on when I get there, Fuhrman?
I figure Dunaway's newfound wealth will have them set you up in some of the nicest, luxurious surroundings out here in Las Vegas. His reputation will lead by example, and all you'll have to do to get into some of the most exclusive restaurants and nightclubs is drop Jim Dunaway's name, and you will be taken care of like a VIP out here with your family, Brownie.
I will leave you my Caesars and MGM reward cards.
Please do that.
You can use my points.
Thank you.
Yeah. Fuhrman, going into, going back last week, about a week ago, going into this tournament, Duke would have been your favorite. But now Caleb Foster, we've seen one game without him. They were lucky to survive Florida State. It is a different team without Foster. With that said, if Florida continues to roll this weekend in Nashville, is there a chance your overall favorite going into the tournament could possibly be Florida?
There's definitely a chance, depending on the bracket they get drawn into. When you look at how Florida's numbers have shortened substantially over the last month, I mean, this was a Gators team you could have had a ticket on around 25 or 30 to 1. Number goes to 20, then to 18, then to 12. And now you're looking at them as the fourth favorite on the board at a couple of major books behind Michigan, Arizona, the aforementioned Duke. But I'd make a case there, LT, that if Florida gets drawn into a region that's extremely favorable, they could definitely go off as the pre-tournament favorite when we get the field of 68 unveiled on Sunday. The most intriguing team, though, that has fallen down and out of favor, I guess, with folks over the last couple of weeks, or two of them, I should say, the Houston Cougars. This is a team that went through a little bit of a funk in the middle of their conference play when they went through a gauntlet. Their number has fallen to 14 to 1. I think they're an intriguing 2-seed, depending on who they get matched up with. And if you believe that Danny Hurley is going to be able to right the ship with UConn, that number has now drifted out to 20 to 1, 22 to 1. Can't see that number shortening substantially, just given that there aren't that much in the way of landmines or resume-building victories they can pick up in the Big East. So it'll be interesting to see how these things set up. But Houston would be that 2-seed that I think is probably most capable of winning their region, especially if they were to get drawn into the same portion of the bracket as Duke, knowing what Houston did to clamp down on the Blue Devils last year, especially given that Caleb Foster injury.
I apologize for not knowing this in advance, but can I bet Auburn in the bracket, out of the bracket? Can I bet Oklahoma in the bracket, out of the bracket? Is that something I can put money on in Vegas?
Not in Vegas, but you can shop around. There are some national books, and I believe a couple of the prediction markets have yes, no's. I haven't seen some of those prices fully updated with the more regulated sports books this morning. Auburn was a little bit of a long shot going into the SEC tournament, but while the Tigers didn't help themselves, I don't know if anybody else in the country has done much to kind of bolster their campaign. Miami of Ohio, of course, losing outright as a 7.5, 8-point favorite against UMass. And while we bandied about how Auburn's resume probably isn't deserving of inclusion, I won't sugarcoat the fact that if Auburn were to play Miami of Ohio and Dayton, you'd be looking at Auburn right around a 7.5 point favorite in that game.
Okay, 7.5. I was going to ask you because deserving and being a good team are two different things. Just your opinion. If you're on the committee, do you put Miami of Ohio in? It looks like it's a lock they're going to be in, but would you put them in?
I would put them in. I think if you're going to diminish what they're able to accomplish during the regular season, and I know the MAC isn't the SEC, the Big Ten, or the Big 12, what are we doing with some of these mid-major programs that are out there? Yes, the strength of schedule left a lot to be desired in the non-conference portion of things, but to go through a regular season gauntlet, even if you had a couple of close calls down the stretch, I think has to be rewarded on some level. Now, what I think Miami did to complicate things by losing to UMass in the third meeting between those teams, I don't think they're squarely in the field of 64. I think the committee has an excellent opportunity now to put Miami of Ohio and Dayton, create a little bit of buzz for either Tuesday or Wednesday night, knowing the proximity to Oxford, Ohio. And if they really wanted to crank up the drama and they thought Auburn's, slightly above 500 record and the way that they limped to the finish in conference play was there, then you have Auburn take on Miami in a play-in game on Tuesday or Wednesday, and you put Bruce Pearl on the call for TNT.
Yeah, I would love that. See, Jeff Goodman suggested that yesterday, Fuhrman. Lance and I got behind it. I don't know how Dunaway felt about it. But Lance and I got behind it. There are those in our chat that thought we were just campaigning for Auburn, which is silly. Those Dayton games suck. Those Dayton games are unwatchable. They don't have any storylines, really. It's a bunch of bad teams trying to get in a tournament, primarily so they can lose their very next game. At least that one has a storyline. At least that one would have some drama to it.
Exactly. If you're looking for a little bit of juice and storyline, I think that's compelling. Now, the way that Auburn played basketball since January 31st, probably not nearly as compelling with just a trio of wins. And I know Stephen Pearl has kind of hung his hat on the big win against Florida, which no doubt one of the best wins that we've seen from any team in the country in conference play, but you have to be a sum total of your resume. And Auburn would defy a lot of some of the bracketology we've seen in the past, finishing just 17-16, one game over 500 to be an at-large, 7-11 in conference play. So we'll see what transpires elsewhere in the country. I think one conference that'll have a little bit of impact on the bubble, if you're rooting for any of those teams that don't have the most compelling resume, you want to see Utah State win the Mountain West because that's an opportunity for there to be a bid feast if the Aggies don't get the job done out here at Thomas and Mack.
Furman, pretty good chance we get to see a rematch of maybe the most entertaining regular season game in college basketball with Alabama and Arkansas if both win as favorites today. Where are Alabama and Arkansas's odds to possibly win a national championship? I know they got to be pretty heavy, but I would assume those are teams 2 and 3 in the SEC behind Florida.
So Arkansas's number has drifted out to 60-1. You can find throughout the market, and Alabama an even bigger long shot at 100-1, along with a couple of other SEC teams that are there. Kentucky, Tennessee, Vandy, Alabama, all being priced about the same for the majority of the markets. Of course, you're going to find some books a little longer and some books a little shorter. So the clear delineation is Florida in a tier by themselves, Arkansas kind of in that second tier, and then a very seismic drop-off until you get to the next couple of teams. And if you really believe in Cinderella stories, the likes of Missouri and Texas A&M, right around 250-1 or greater to cut down the nets in Indy.
By the way, just for Brown's historical purposes, VCU in 2011, UCLA in 2021, both from Dayton to the Final Four.
I said primarily.
LaSalle, Tennessee, Syracuse from Dayton to the Sweet 16.
I know.
So
I said primarily. Most of those teams are just now, all the 16 seeds are competing to get decapitated.
You gave us 4. I bet in the last 10 years you've got more mid-majors that get to a Sweet 16 than teams from Dayton.
Yeah, I gave you 5. I don't know how long Dayton's been going on.
Yeah.
Hey, so Alabama today against Ole Miss. Do you have a play on that one? And then where is Alabama on your national championship scale? How deep of a run could you see Bama going without seeing the bracket yet?
I think Alabama's got Elite Eight upside potential, and if they have a bracket that were to break favorably for them, it can be a very difficult out. We know Alabama and how proficient they can be on the offensive side of the ball. Talked about them getting a little bit of a buy a few weeks ago from some sharp bettors taking long shot prices on them to get into the Final Four. I mean, this is a team from an offensive efficiency standpoint, top 3 in the SEC. We know they want to play run and gun. It's a question of if those shots are falling and what they'll be able to get on the defensive side of the ball. If not, you look at the number today, they are massive favorites against an Ole Miss team who pulled off the outright upset yesterday against Georgia. Look, as this number continues to drift out, I'd be more intrigued to take a look at Ole Miss right now sitting at 12 on a number that opened at 10. We've seen the total kind of hang steady at 163.5 right where it opened. Again, Alabama is a team that I think as an underdog is extremely intriguing against anybody not in that top 3 or top 4. I don't love matchups against a Florida or an Arizona or a Michigan, but I do think this is a team that can beat anybody outside of that top group, but they could also lose to teams if they're not going to commit on the defensive end, and that's kind of been their Achilles heel since Nate Oates took over.
Interesting pickup from the Minnesota Vikings yesterday, getting Kyler Murray on that 1-year veteran minimum deal. I'm one of those guys that thinks Kyler Murray's got a ton of upside. I don't know where you are. It's a much more improved option at that position over last year with J.J. McCarthy. They won 9 games last year, Fuhrman. Their win total is 8.5 right now, and you're getting Kyler Murray. To me, that looks like value, playing the over.
It makes them more intriguing knowing what Kevin O'Connell has done with lesser talents at the position. Can he fix Kyler Murray and everything that ailed him in Arizona and turn him into a guy that can lead the offense accordingly? The one thing I will say, if you believe in betting markets, I mean, Kyler Murray's odds to win the MVP, 75-1, J.J. McCarthy, 250-1. So we'll see how this competition does look on the surface. Now, not a ton to do away from the football field in Minnesota, so you do wonder the amount of hours Kyler Murray is going to log playing video games during the frigid winters up there unless he gets into ice fishing and his level of focus. But I think it's a fun storyline to try and follow. And I'm sure there's plenty of folks, not just fans, but in the front office for Minnesota, that have to be kicking themselves, knowing Sam Darnold walked out the door, won a Super Bowl with the Seattle Seahawks in a franchise that was constructed in a very similar way as to what the Vikings were doing, built on defense, doing enough on the offensive side. So we'll see if Murray can scratch the surface for some of that potential. We've seen highs in Arizona. We've seen lows. But at this point where he's not nearly as quick and nimble in the pocket, can he be a pocket passer? And we'll see Kevin O'Connell's offensive aptitude really on full display. Makes for a fun storyline during this camp battle throughout August.
Will you sneak out and watch William Byron win the Las Vegas race this weekend? Will you go to the track?
Will not be trackside, but I don't know if this makes me feel better or worse, Dunaway, riding your heater, because I do think William Byron offers the most upside in the outright pool before we see these cars unload at the track. One important thing to keep in mind, this will be a little bit more aerodynamic sensitivity at the 1.5 miles at Las Vegas. Chevrolet could have some great potential with the new body configuration, and I do think they're going to be better and more competitive than what we saw at Phoenix, where Hendrick Motorsports has typically struggled on that flat mile track. So William Byron at a price tag right around 8.5, 9-1, much more intriguing to add to the early week dance card than trying to make a case for either favoring Kyle Larson or Christopher Bell.
So do you think by me nailing William Byron, Italy, that I'm getting better at this, or am I just listening to more of your content? Which do you think is actually happening?
I'm going to say that, if maybe you're finding a little bit of your sweet spot, Dunaway, and that you can teach an old dog new tricks when it comes to handicapping acumen at this point.
Jimmy Alfredo, he's on his way.
I'm absorbing all the content I can get from you, the Fuhrman.
I appreciate that. I will take that as a compliment, even if it's one in a backhanded format or another.
We are asked by the audience to ask you for your best bet to win the whole shebang, the whole national championship. I would assume you would prefer to look at the brackets before you do that, so we're happy to do that next Friday.
At this point, I think it's just so difficult because when you look at these short shots here, there are a couple numbers that could shorten. You may get a price that'll lengthen a little bit. If I'm looking at some of these numbers now that I think you could see a decent amount of change with, Look, the only one would probably be UConn if they got drawn into a real favorable region. I don't have enough confidence in Kansas and Darren Peterson, but 50-1 is mildly attractive. No reason to try and run and bet any of the 5 short shots in Michigan, Duke, Arizona, Florida, and Houston, all priced at 12-1 or shorter. I'm not a buyer in Iowa State. I don't think they can do enough and play consistently to win 6 games. Illinois defensively leaves a lot to be desired. In my opinion, they're a slightly better version of Alabama at a fraction of the price tag. So Houston will be the team that I am most intrigued by, though, when we get drawn into brackets, because I think this veteran group is a little bit more dynamic offensively, and you're getting them at a discount given how they struggled late in Big 12 play. I think they're just as good as some of the 4 teams being priced at shorter odds than them.
All right, Warren Vegas. Jimmy Alfredo is on his way.
I would love to have Fuhrman on next Tuesday right before the tournament, or Wednesday.
Well, I don't think his favorite's going to lose on Thursday or Friday.
Okay.
I mean, that would be hard to believe.
Otherwise, we're in big trouble, and we got a Purdue Fairleigh Dickinson type situation unfolding before our very eyes.
I will say Dunaway over the last decade has had his national champion lose in the first round twice that I know of.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive. Steve Nash not walking through those doors anytime soon for Santa Clara to knock off Arizona.
I have not filled out my bracket yet, though, because it has not been released.
Good.
Okay.
Fuhrman, enjoy the weekend, my man. Great conference basketball, the players, NASCAR, all that, and we'll see you next week.
Oh, let me say one thing, guys. For all the goodwill Dunaway has built, him admitting that he hasn't filled out his bracket before the bracket has been unveiled just takes him back to square one. So job well done, Dunaway.
That was Jimmy Alfredo. That was vintage right there, yes.
Enjoy the games this weekend, boys.
All right, buddy. We'll see you. Thank you, Fuhrman. Todd Fuhrman with us on the Alexander Shinara Trial Attorneys Hotline.
At Central Alabama's most trusted name for insurance claim roofing repairs and restoration is Storm Restoration Roofing. That's Greg from Pell City. And I always tell you, when the unexpected happens, when one of these storms blow through, you want to use pros, not door knockers. And you want to use Greg from Pell City. We've been telling you about him for years, locally owned for almost 3 decades. He and his wife, Andrea, run the company. And before the storm hits your neighborhood, go ahead and have these bits of information down. The phone number for Greg from Pell City, straight to his cell, 205-542-3531. Sometimes you just leave him a message if he doesn't answer, and he'll get back to you. 205-542-3531 or stormrestorationroofing.com. Greg from Pell City gives you a free no-cost roof inspection. He would love to talk to you before you file your insurance claim, so he maybe can give you bits of information that would help you get the most from your insurance providers. He also does roof replacement, storm damage repairs with his builder's license. He's got that as well, and so much more. It is all right there. StormRestorationRoofing.com, Greg from Pell City. And our friends with One Man and a Toolbox.
Hey, you need an odd job done around the house? Can't do it yourself, from installing a ceiling fan, which I've had the guys come out and do. Just a simple task like painting. One Man in the Toolbox performs handyman services for homes, commercial properties in Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Montgomery, surrounding areas. They do the regular repairs and maintenance, also small project renovations, updates. They've got multiple technicians with different skill sets. They can tackle most any item in your home. When we wanted this bourbon room done, first people we called, Jay and the guys at One Man in the Toolbox, they were able to come out, install that, take care of it. For more information, call for the free estimates, 205-823-2111. Mention the next round, $25 discount for the first hour of service. For more information, onemanandatoolbox.com.
All right, finally, some respect for Kalen DeBoer in the coaches' ranking. Stuart Mandel in the Athletic top 25 coaches of 2026. This more in line, I believe. This Stuart Mandel is like he's crawled into the head of Lance Taylor. Best coach going into 2026, Kirk Cignetti. You agree with that?
I agree with that. I don't want Stewart in my head, but yes.
But 1 for 1.
Yes, 1 for 1.
Second best coach in college football going into 2026, Kirby Smart.
I agree, yes.
2 for 2.
Number 3 best coach going into 2026, Ryan Day.
Yes.
Okay.
Wow, 3 for 3.
He's got Kalen DeBoer at number 5. You have Kalen DeBoer really high on your list. There's respect for Kalen DeBoer. Number 5 from Stuart Mandel.
Yeah, I think I would have DeBoer 4 or 5. You know, it'd be easy to put a guy like Dan Lanning, but I saw Dan Lanning against Kalen DeBoer when Dan Lanning had more talent.
He goes Dan Lanning at number 4.
Who's he got at number 4?
Yeah. Kalen DeBoer is number 5. Sark at 6.
Yeah, I would probably have DeBoer, and I know there is a ton of Auburn fans, even Bama fans, that are laughing when I say this out loud. I would have DeBoer at number 4 on this list.
This
and landing at 5.
This is the most respect Kalen DeBoer has gotten in any of these lists this offseason. Not showing up in Clad's top 10.
You guys
7th with Josh Pate.
Here's I want to give you some respect here, Lance. Nobody outside of maybe Greg Byrne and the DeBoer family has fought harder for Kalen DeBoer than you have in this state. And you're either going to look like a genius or going to have to come back one day and say, I don't know, guys. I don't know what happened.
Yeah. Well, I said that about Hugh Freeze. I thought the Hugh Freeze thing would work out.
But you have fought your tail off for Kalen DeBoer, and you've had to fight against some very strong headwinds in this state.
Yeah, and the only thing I try to tell people, and I'll ask you guys, and we've kind of talked about this in general before, what has been the most difficult coaching transition you've ever seen since you guys have been doing this?
I first believe it was after Bear Bryant because
and that's fair.
Nobody wants to admit how far the recruiting and talent level at Alabama had fallen off.
Yeah, for entirely different reasons.
But
Bill,
we were
Bill
kids,
O'Brien replacing Joe Paterno was
yeah.
But that's for entirely different reasons.
Yeah.
This is not in the vein of what you're talking about.
And the only reason I bring this up is you go from that transition, and Kalen DeBoer was the last team out of a 12-team playoff. And this year they're in the 12-team playoff, playing for the SEC championship, and they finished a top 10 team.
Yeah, second for me is what DeBoer is doing with Saban, and it probably is more difficult because of the world we live in now, where there's no patience, there's social media, there's constant media coverage. That wasn't the case in 1983 for Ray Perkins.
And it doesn't appear that Stewart is doing this, but Landmine Believer in the chat says what we've said on this show is, when people are doing these top 10s, they're comparing every other coach to their peers. They're comparing Kalen DeBoer to Nick Saban.
100%.
And that is an impossible comparison for any of these coaches.
Yeah, and one of you guys brought that up. Who was our guest yesterday or 2 days ago?
Pate.
Maybe it was
It was Josh Pate.
Pate or Slareth. But one of you guys said, is he being compared? I guess it was Pate.
And he always will be. He always will be.
Yeah.
The entire time he has this Alabama job, it's going to be a comparison to Nick Saban, and he could turn it to where it's actually a favorable comparison for him. This seems unlikely right now, but if DeBoer could reel off 2 or 3 national championships, everybody would be like, I'll tell you what, it ain't Nick Saban, but it's pretty dang close.
2 or 3.
Yeah, I think if he gets one,
I said it was
if he
unlikely.
gets one in the next 3 or 4 years. By the way, a much-needed question to be asked, that's an obvious question that hasn't been asked, will be coming up on 4 Downs involving Kalen DeBoer.
Okay, that's coming up in the final hour of the show. Bryan Passink due up to talk Bama basketball next. Can you give me the list one more time from Stuart Mandel, the top 25 coaches going into the year at the Athletic from Stuart? It is Cignetti, Smart, Day, Lanning, DeBoer in the top 5. Sark is 6, Marcus Freeman, who everyone loves, at 7. There's Lane Kiffin at 8. He's got Kyle Whittingham at 9.
The funniest thing is Whittingham, by taking the Michigan job, has gone up in all of these standings. He was never this high at Utah.
Lance always respected him, but he never got the national respect that he's getting now at the end of his career.
That's right.
But I'll tell you, so Stuart Mandel has killed this list, though. I agree with a lot of it, but there is one glaring omission.
Which is?
It's Lincoln Riley.
He doesn't have him ranked.
I'm just talking about the totality of the career.
Yeah.
And it's not like he's done an awful job at USC. He's done a very, very average job at USC, but he's still better than a lot of coaches.
He was not a prisoner of the moment with Mario Cristobal done away.
No, Mario Cristobal is 10. Matt Campbell, 11. James Franklin, 12. Sataki, 13. Kirk Ferentz, 14. This is where I'd start putting Lincoln Riley in here.
Yeah, I think it's around 15.
Yeah,
top 15.
Clark Lee is 15. Willie Fritz, 16. Josh Heupel is 17. This is Bruce Feldman now we've switched to. Feldman's got DeBoer 4. Are you showing this? Give me Forrester's mic. You switched on me there.
I was trying to show Lincoln Riley
19th.
Feldman does have.
Yeah. So Bruce has got him 19th, but Bruce has DeBoer 4th, huh?
Yeah, Bruce's backyard backs up to the USC practice field, but I understand. Yeah, Lincoln Riley 19th.
But he's got Cristobal way too high.
He does. He was a prisoner of the moment with Cristobal.
Yeah. Give me Mandel. Let me finish that one real ing.
Sorry, Jim.
No, I had an eye exam yesterday, and I occasionally, with my new glasses that are coming in, I have what is called prisming. And
I did ask the Michelsons last night if you should have been driving. They're like, yeah, they give you drops now where you can drive.
It was blurry and bright, but I got there. After Fritz, it's Heupel, Elko, Dabo Sweeney at 19. Now flip back. Summerall's 21. Now
Dabo's
flip back.
too deep. Dabo needs to be higher than that.
It's been
Higher than
bad,
19.
but I don't think it's been that bad.
Yeah. Feldman's got Dabo.
8.
That's too high.
8th,
Yeah.
okay. Where does he have Summerall? 18th, okay. That's the two comparisons from our friends at The Athletic. Good list there. Both of them, pretty good list there. Both of them have really high on Kalen DeBoer. I think Josh Pate, not to put words in his mouth, was saying about Joel Klatt's list when you asked him how could Klatt have him not on there and you have him 7th. I think what Pate was saying, how that a little bit of bias in the SEC with DeBoer, that how could Kalen DeBoer be so high on Joel Klatt's list when he's a Pac-12/Big Ten coach, and then he's not in his top 10 when he's an SEC coach.
Yeah, I mean, I think
between the lines, I think that's what Josh Pate was saying.
I think you and I are in the minority of thinking that Kalen DeBoer did a really good job this past year.
And Ty Simpson, too. The more you hear from Mark Schlereth, and if you missed Mark yesterday.
Yeah, but by the way, you got to be able to keep that guy in Ty Simpson.
That's right.
And you got to have the confidence to be able to start that guy.
Yep. And you know, I'll do a little bit. I will say this now about, and Bryan Passink's coming up. So I'll say Bryan Passink after Bryan Passink for what I'm going to say about Stephen Pearl and Kalen DeBoer. Show being brought to you by our friends at Bojangles before we get to Passing on the other side.
You can make it bow time at Bojangles, and right now you can swing by and get that Alaskan pollock filet sandwich. It's the Bojangler, that crispy Alaskan pollock filet and the Bo seasoning, and the deluxe comes with lettuce, pickle, tomato, cheese, and tartar sauce. The triple-double, you can start by getting up some threes in the morning. That triple-double biscuit with triple the protein, the sausage, egg, and bacon. Double the cheese on the scratch-made biscuits there at Bojangles. Their breakfast products, including those ham biscuits, 2 for $5, all come with that Bojangles new iced coffee. And you can finish any meal with a strawberry cobbler from our friends at Bojangles, where it's always bow time.
And it's time to go racing at Talladega. Don't forget to upgrade to the garage experience when you get your Jack Links 500 at Talladega tickets. Sunday, April 26th, get your tickets at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. But when you're on the website, check out the garage experience, the most immersive garage experience in NASCAR. You can actually be in the Cup Series garage viewing area, watching your favorite driver and the team work and tune up their car and get ready for the big race. I mean, so up close and personal that you can hear what they're saying about the cars. Be part of the pre-race ceremonies, victory lane, and all that with a garage experience. Add it on when you buy your tickets right now. TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, 877-GO-TO-DEGA.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers. To everyone who craves a fresh meal made just for you, let our team member Jacob share what's special about Culver's.
In Wisconsin, our food comes from the heart, and taking the time to handcraft your meal with care is how we've always done it at Culver's. It's why your Butterburger doesn't touch the grill until after you order.
Come to Culver's and let us serve you a Butterburger made special just for you. From Wisconsin with love, welcome to Delicious.
At Central State Bank, we are large enough to serve you and small enough to know you. Manage your money with ease, whether it's mobile banking, hassle-free checking, competitive loans, business solutions, or personalized financial advice. We're your hometown bank with big-time service. Visit us today and experience banking made simple, because at Central State Bank, you come first.
Member FDIC.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Get all your favorite Next Round gear all in one place, nextround.store. From our Next Round hats to the logo tees to the all-time best-selling Y'all Can Have the Rest shirt, you can look your best by shopping with us at nextround.store. Take the next round anywhere with nextround.store.
Birmingham's fastest party returns to Barber Motorsports Park March 27th through 29th. Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix, powered by AmFirst Experience. 3 days of high-speed action featuring the fastest drivers in the world from the IndyCar Series. Enjoy the Kids Zone, food trucks, beer garden, fan zone, and more. The Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix. Kids 15 and under get in free. Get your tickets now.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Ain't no party like a Dega party. The noise, the chaos, the will to survive. The biggest, boldest, brashest, fastest, and most intimidating track in all of NASCAR. Only one place calls that home. At Talladega, anything can happen. And at this super speedway, everything usually does.
Hell yeah, boys!
NASCAR weekend at Talladega Super Speedway, April 24th through the 26th. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
It's bow time. The Bojangles Chicken Rice Bowl is back. Get dirty rice, slow-cooked Cajun pintos, cheese, and your choice of chicken for just $7.49. But order now. It's only here for a limited time. It's bow time. It's bow time. The Bojangles Chicken Rice Bowl is back. Get dirty rice, slow-cooked Cajun pintos, cheese, and your choice of chicken for just $7.49. But order now. It's only here for a limited time. It's bow time.
Before we get to Bryan Passink in Nashville, Brown is going to give us the Culver's schedule update. It's Kentucky, Florida first at 12. Then it's Ole Miss and Bama at 6. After Kentucky, Florida, Tennessee, Vandy, Ole Miss, Bama, Oklahoma, Arkansas. That's your Culver's schedule of the day.
And you can celebrate any of those wins with our friends at Culver's. Welcome to Delicious. Yeah, that butter burger, a great way to celebrate a win with those crispy crinkle-cut fries, those gooey golden cheese curds, and that great fresh frozen custard right there with our friends at Culver's. When in Birmingham, Tattersall Park on Highway 280 and Stadium Trace out near the Hoover Met. Those are the Birmingham locations of our friends at Culver's. Welcome to Delicious. Also, welcome to Bryan Passink, the analyst on the Crimson Tide Sports Network, former Alabama basketball player with us now from Nashville. What is up, Bryan Passink? How are you, my friend?
Doing great, guys. How are y'all today?
Doing awesome. We were watching in the preview screen before we came back from commercial there, and for a moment, Lance thought you had redecorated your home and had gone wild on one of your walls there.
No, I'm at the Renaissance in downtown Nashville.
Okay.
So great place to be. I think I've stayed at this hotel probably more than any other hotel in my life. Been coming to the SEC tournament in Nashville pretty much every year for a long time now. So it's one of my favorite spots. This is one of my favorite times of the year. Looking forward to the Crimson Tide getting it going later tonight.
So Nate brought up the last couple of years, Final Four run, Elite Eight run, that the defense just starts playing better in March, and this team is kind of doing the same right now. How do you explain that?
Yeah, listen, Nate Oates' teams typically get better as the year goes on. That's been his track record. This year, it's become pretty apparent that they are getting better, and I think that's due to the system and that a lot of guys in this day and age of college basketball are new to the system. You know, you don't have a ton of guys that have been around your program for multiple years. Although Alabama does have veterans, you've got a lot of new guys and some freshmen that are playing key roles. So those guys are getting better. They're getting used to the system. But I think maybe more than anything, this team is as healthy as they've been all season long. I've been around this program for a while, and this is as banged up a team as I've seen. And the good news is that for the most part, to key players, none of those injuries have been long-term. They've been keeping guys out of games and practices, and it's hard to get continuity. To Nate's credit, to these players' credit, they've been able to keep their head above water and finish second in a deep SEC, but they're hitting their stride at the right time. They're getting healthy at the right time, and I think they're playing their best basketball at the right time. They've been really good offensively all year long. Nate's teams typically are one of the best teams offensively, one of the fastest teams in college basketball. But we've said it all year long. This team will go as far as their defense and rebounding takes them. They're still not where they want to be, but definitely trending in the right direction.
Nobody probably has all the tools more than Amari Allen to be good both ends of the floor, to be good on the glass and all. Where has his game changed from early in SEC play to late in SEC play? Is it true that sometimes freshmen hit a wall, and can you get re-energized this time of year?
Yeah, and it's why I think that this time off and getting the double bye was so important. And maybe for Amari Allen and London Jemison, the Auburn game was so important because the previous two games, I was worried that those two guys in particular, those freshmen, have maybe hit that wall. You see it all the time. You know, you're just the grind of the long season, playing all these games, and even practices are so much more intense and longer than you're used to in high school. But for both of those guys to play so well against Auburn, I think gives them confidence coming into the postseason. And then the double bye, everybody's banged up, everybody's tired. To get that essentially a week off for this team, I think important, especially as banged up as they've been this season.
Bryan Passink is with us, former Alabama player, analyst on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. He is on the Alexander Shinara Trial Attorneys Hotline. Knowing that you've got a team playing its third game in 3 days, and knowing the tempo Alabama plays, that's a massive favor, massive in the column of Alabama. I mean, there were people, earlier like, do you run more early? I mean, I don't think Alabama has to run more. I think just the normal tempo they play, that's going to be tough on Ole Miss, even a rested Ole Miss, Bryan. But a third game in 3 days, Ole Miss, that tempo is going to be tough to swallow for them.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you want to get the double bye. It's an advantage for Alabama. Now, the advantage that Ole Miss has, and we've seen this over the course of the tournament, is teams that haven't played yet have gotten off to slow starts. And Ole Miss has come out in their first couple of games, upsetting Texas and then Georgia, getting off to great starts, double-digit leads. So hopefully that won't happen tonight. But listen, Alabama's going to run you. They're going to try to be the fastest-paced team in college basketball, regardless of if you're fresh or not. Obviously, Ole Miss, having played 3 games in 3 days and typically don't play the pace that Alabama does, I would think that would be an advantage for Alabama. But Ole Miss played a Georgia team that plays a lot like Alabama now. Mike White has never played this system, and they're looking a lot like Alabama from a style and tempo standpoint. So I think that'll help Ole Miss with a quick turnaround time. And they did a great job last night of getting back in transition defense, something you have to do against Georgia. Also, you have to do against Alabama, and defending the three-point shot. So they may be a little bit tired, but the scouting report is going to be very similar to what they saw against the Georgia Bulldogs.
Bryan, back at Boutwell, the three of us did was it Alabama, Oklahoma State, Alabama, Florida State?
Alabama,
Florida State.
Florida State.
Yeah. A long time ago.
That was the season.
We saw Taylor Boboan for the first time. We were like, damn, I mean, the guy's 6'10", he's athletic, he put it on the deck. He was coming off a season at Florida State where he shot over 41% behind the arc. It just hasn't hit for him. And I know we've brought him up a lot on this show, but, I mean, you can see the skill set. Why is it just not working out production-wise?
I think a lot of it has to do with injuries. He's been banged up all season long. And if you go back to that game and a few after that, one of the biggest wins of the year for this Alabama team was going on the road to Madison Square Garden and beating a top 5 team at the time in St. John's. A big reason they won that game is Taylor Boboan was a difference maker on both ends of the floor. He was hitting big shots. He was defending, rebounding, playing at the level that we hoped we would see this season. And he hasn't met his expectations. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that he's not been healthy all year. But he, like so many of these other guys that have been banged up, he's as healthy as he's been in a long time, maybe a little rusty because he hasn't had the practice time. But I think that Taylor Boboan is going to have a better postseason than he has a regular season. And I think that's mainly due to health.
When you look at, and this is a big picture thing, is we're getting ready for Alabama to finally play an SEC tournament game, Selection Sunday. They'll have a great seed in that coming up on Sunday. But from a program health, I'm watching other programs around the league, and it seems like Preston Murphy and Nate Oates have dialed it in on the mix of retaining players, portal players, but still recruiting high school players. Can you talk about that, how they structure their roster? Because it seems to be blending all three times. They don't seem to be spending all their chips in one category.
Yeah, I think the perfect blend is about a third, a third, a third. You want to keep a third, transfer portal, a third of the guys that you pinpoint and want to get, and then also go out and get some of the best high school players in the country that fit your system. And I think the reason for the consistency that Alabama has had under Nate Oates is because they've been able to do that. Now, you could poll a bunch of college coaches around the country. That's what they're all trying to do. Easier said than done. I think because of the success of this Alabama program and the style of play, guys want to play this style. And also, when you look around and you're a player thinking about transferring out, it's hard to replicate what Alabama is doing, both from a success and style of play. Listen, fans love the way that Alabama plays, but maybe even more than that, players love it. Players in the transfer portal, in high school basketball. It's a fun style to watch, but also a fun style to play. And when you look at the guys that have increased their draft stock, which every player, whether they're in the portal, whether they're in high school, everybody wants to get to the next level and play in the NBA. Nate Oates and his staff, the player development has been as good as anybody in college basketball, and guys are improving their stock, playing a fun style and winning. Great combination, and it's why Alabama has become one of the top programs in the country.
One of the top hot candidates to be a coach anywhere right now is Bryan Hodgson. I don't know if he's going to be one and done at USF. They're playing here in Birmingham in the American. They won the regular season. Could you tell he was going to be a successful head coach when you were around him in Tuscaloosa?
I thought he was going to be really good. I don't know that I predicted that he would be this good, this quickly. I mean, he's won quickly. He's won championships at Arkansas State, now at South Florida. He's from Buffalo. Obviously, he came to Tuscaloosa with Nate from Buffalo, but unlike Nate, he's actually born and raised in Buffalo. And there's an opening in upstate New York, I hear, in Syracuse. They would have a hard time finding someone better than Bryan Hodgson. He's one of the hottest young coaches in college basketball, plays the Nate Oates system. He was a key recruiter for Coach Oates, and he's done it as a head coach now. And, I don't know what Bryan will decide to do, but he's in a great position to stay and win big where he is or move on to possibly a higher level.
Do you know, and chances are you don't know this, but I'm going to ask just because you know a lot of basketball people, if their NIL is healthy up there, it's a very large alumni base, and it is a basketball school, Syracuse, so they're going to get more, I would think, percentage-wise than football would. Do you know how healthy it is up there? Have you heard?
I haven't heard, but I would assume, like you, it's pretty good. I mean, they take their hoops pretty serious up there. They've got a great alumni base, and this is a huge hire for Syracuse. They can't get this one wrong. They've kind of been wallowing in mediocrity late in the Jim Boeheim years and in the last few years, and Bryan Hodgson would make a lot of sense. I don't know that that's the direction they're going to go, but I do know it's a big hire for Syracuse, and when it's a big hire, the NIL dollars seem to creep up to where it needs to be. So I would expect them to get a really good head coach. It's not easy in the ACC, but one of the top programs historically in college basketball.
All right, 6 o'clock tip tonight up in the Music City, Alabama and Ole Miss. You'll hear Brian Passink along with our buddies Chris Stewart, Tom Stipe, Roger Hoover, all there on the Crimson Tide Sports Network with the game from Nashville, and they hope all the way through Sunday as you'll hear them from Nashville. Brian, thank you for the time, man. Enjoy the game tonight. Always good catching up.
Always enjoy it. Thanks, guys.
All right, buddy. Take care. Brian Passink with us on the Alexander Shinara Trial Attorneys Hotline.
Here's my projection. Hodgson gets that job.
Syracuse.
And then Alabama plays Syracuse next year. Either in Carrier Dome, Madison Square Garden, or on campus in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, do a home and home. Bama
or it could be a Birmingham.
Yeah, but by the way, on the NIL, I did read that their NIL, they have not
They ain't got it right.
Done anything.
Well,
yeah.
Passink's right. When you have to fire the coach that replaced Jim Boeheim,
yep,
and you're staring at more mediocrity, that'll get people off their wallets. If they're ever going to get off their wallets, that's what's going to do it. Is you have now seen how you live in mediocrity, and
Hutchins can also say, "Man, if you don't donate, I'll talk to you in the hallway."
He's a big guy.
He's a big guy. He does
imposing.
that.
Bama did a home and home with him back in the David Hobbs era, I think it was. So that'd be a cool home and home.
So Alabama's played in the Carrier.
Yeah,
Dome
they played in the
before.
Carrier Dome. I want to say it was David Hobbs.
I will tell you this. We can say it's Hoover Toyota, the place you need to go check out the inventory, hoovertoyota.com. We'll have a drive home today, drive in on Monday on our social platform with some big questions in sports. hoovertoyota.com. They bring you the Players Championship update in golf.
Sepp Straka. I mentioned this earlier, and people were asking in the chat. He lives in Birmingham. The dude's from Austria. Yeah, he played college golf at Georgia. Birmingham girl. That's what got him to Birmingham, and lives here in the area. So we always pull for Sepp. Now he's fallen back into second place. He's still at 8 under. Great round today at 3 under. But Corey Connors, the Canadian, does not live in Birmingham. But he's the story of the day. 6 under on his round, 9 under on the tournament as he makes the turn on his second round. So he's got a one-shot lead over Birmingham resident Sepp Straka. That's your leaderboard update.
If you're in the market for a car, a truck, an SUV, new or used, our friends at Hoover Toyota, they're there for you. Stop by the Highway 150 location or view their inventory and great pricing at hoovertoyota.com.
All right. And we continue with our Innisfree countdown to kickoff. 169 days away. And I know, LT, you're a big fan of St. Patrick's Day at Innisfree. It's an Irish pub, and it's like the Rose Bowl of Irish pubs here in Birmingham. You go there and you'll remember the St. Patrick's Day forever.
Yeah, look, viewing any game in the Rose Bowl is quite the treat, but viewing the Rose Bowl in the Rose Bowl is the way to do it. That's what you've got at the Innisfree Irish Pub coming up this Tuesday for St. Patrick's Day. But the $1 green beer from Bud Light all day today. They're going to have music, the parade tomorrow. Monday they will hose it out. Tuesday it's bagpipes. And the
kegs and eggs.
Kegs and eggs. There we go.
Yeah, kegs and eggs and the bagpipes, the food trucks on Tuesday. Don't forget DJ Barry Bangers gets it going with hot dogs on Sunday. But today is the Green Bud Light, $1 Green Bud Light drafts all day at Innisfree Irish Pub. Get ready to get the clovers out with Innisfree. All right. That's our countdown to kickoff at 169. One note from college football before we jump back into basketball, 4 downs and the viewing menu in the next segment. Trinidad Chambliss now putting some dollars and cents to this NCAA battle he's going on. He is saying that the ongoing NCAA battle for his eligibility one more year is now costing him money, that he was going to be the cover of EA Sports College Football, that offer has now been pulled because of the ongoing eligibility battle.
Well, this is a great argument on his part.
Yeah, but it is. But let me ask you guys this. When does that game typically drop? Isn't it like in July or August?
Yeah. July, yeah.
Yeah, so why? I mean, by then we're going to have a decision.
We
why
will.
would you not have an alternate cover and still give the kid an opportunity?
They do have multiple covers. Usually it's 2 or 3 athletes. Ryan Williams was one of them last year from Alabama.
Ooh, talking about cover jeans.
Yeah, boy.
But it's Jeremiah Smith was the other. I don't know if he underperformed or overperformed.
It's still really good.
Yeah, probably overperformed again.
But it is that's a big, even forget the dollars and cents. It's a big honor to be part of that cover.
But it's a great argument on his part too, because his whole argument is that the NCAA is unjustly limiting his ability to earn right now. That's the whole basis of his argument.
And that is legitimate.
Yeah, I mean, and you can argue NIL all you want, but if you could just say, I was going to be on a video game cover. I mean, that's a pretty dang good argument. If it ever got to a jury, which it won't, but if I was ever on a jury, I would listen to that and say, well, he's got a pretty good point here, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you. Another thing, Arch Manning's roommate last year at Texas was Parker Livingston, wide receiver.
Yeah, good receiver.
He's at Oklahoma now. And this week, as Oklahoma was starting spring practice, he had this quote: "If I didn't have an agent, I'd probably still be in Austin." Like, the agent
got him to Oklahoma?
Yeah, was out there shopping him.
Yeah.
And got him such a good deal from Oklahoma, he left a place he was happy at. Arch Manning's roommate, he and Arch got along great. He really was overperforming skill-wise on the field. He became like a blanket for Arch Manning. and now he's at Oklahoma, where he said, "quote If I didn't have an agent, I'd probably still be in Austin."
Well, I mean, a couple of things. I mean, good for his agent working for his commission. You wonder how much the agent is meddling. It is their biggest rival. It was an interesting move when Parker decided to transfer to Oklahoma.
Yeah, I mean, just because he is Arch's roommate and you're going to your arch rival, no pun intended, but you're going to your arch rival, it was a weird move for Parker Livingston. But then when you saw Cam Coleman come in, you're like, well, that's an upgrade. Parker Livingston was good, but Cam Coleman's an upgrade at that spot.
A little bit more on the SEC basketball tournament in this segment before we get to the top of the hour. Always fun having Bryan Passink with us. Show being brought to you in part by our friends at Central State Bank, Brownie.
It is the bank that is big enough to meet every need you have, but they're also small enough to know you because they are a community bank. They do business in your community, live in your community. Their kids go to school with your kids. I mean, that's what a community bank is all about. At Central State Bank, they don't just open accounts, they open relationships. Family-owned, community-focused, built on trust. For more than 100 years, serving Shelby County and Tallapoosa County and all of Central Alabama with local decisions and personal service that feels like home. So if you are starting a business, if you are buying a car, if you're planning just for tomorrow, Central State Bank will be with you every step of the way. Rooted in community, driven by relationships. Member FDIC.
Oklahoma, it seems like Porter Moser does it about this time every year. You want to play them earlier than you do later. Their team gets better, it seems, at the end. Here's Porter Moser on how well Oklahoma is playing right now after an 83-63 win over Texas A&M last night. They get Arkansas tonight at 8:30.
I've said this 4 weeks ago. We got to play better basketball. We're playing really good basketball on both ends. We're defending. You talk a lot about people. You can just hear the noise right now. There's a lot of teams trying to limp into the tournament. For years, I've been in this profession, and they constantly say, who's playing the best right now? This team has won 8 out of 10 in the SEC, 6 in a row, all right? And so, but we're not done yet. They were just in the locker room. We know we got a big task ahead of us against a great Arkansas team. We're looking forward to it.
Is this the old job saver for him?
Possibly, yeah.
I mean, if they make the tournament, it's going to be hard to fire the guy making the tournament. I know,
and I don't know how they don't make the tournament now.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people think they knocked Auburn out last night. Oklahoma did with their win over Texas A&M. If they beat Arkansas today, and I don't know if they can beat Arkansas tonight, but if they do, I think they're solidly, and they may be past Dayton if they could beat Arkansas.
Yeah, the latest bracketology, Forrester had it earlier for us. If you've missed it, Oklahoma ahead of Auburn now in the latest bracketology. First team out, Oklahoma. Now, the problem is for Oklahoma is that there are still some potential bid stealers out there that could force the issue. But Oklahoma in a good place, and then they get an opportunity tonight.
If you're a Sooner fan, you like Jerry Palm, he's got you past Dayton already. He's got him as an 11 solidly in already, playing North Carolina in a 6-11 game. So, that'd be massive.
So, that's Porter Moser, man. As I said,
I thought he was dead man walking.
And I brought it up on the show last week. It's weird to think that he's about to be fired, and then I was seeing him on the short list for other job openings.
No, fired from Oklahoma, but getting this job?
Yeah, that's crazy. All right, top of the hour, back to Auburn, Alabama's day in Nashville. And we'll get to our 4 downs in viewing menu coming up on the show that's being brought to you by our friends at Crane ULT.
Hey, look, if you're looking to maybe make a switch on what you're doing career-wise, or if you just want to tighten up what you're already in, our friends at Crane U, they can help. Very important, though, when you make that phone call to our friends at Crane U and you talk to either Francis or Nicole, you mention the next round, you're going to get 10% off all their great services. Get the crane training you need today. Our friends at Crane U offer the comprehensive, state-of-the-art, fully stocked training facility for mobile cranes, overhead lifts, or forklift training. If you want to use your own equipment, not a big deal. The team at Crane U will come to you. On-site, on-location training offered nationwide. Make the job easier, the job site safer. Crane U also offers certification and safety inspections to ensure the safest environment possible. Classes are available monthly, so call 855-CRANE-U or craneu.com.
And when it came time to do the master bath in the Brown House, we did not need to utilize a crane, thankfully, but we did need to utilize our guy, Brad Bell. My wife, Jennifer, scoured the internet looking for the right person to do our master bath. And inevitably, she kept coming back to Brad. So we had him to come look at our job, and he told us the first thing straight up front, I'm going to do it the way you guys want it done, right? It's your bathroom. So we gave him our vision, and that's the way he did it. He was tremendous all along the way. 205-422-1758 is his number. 205-422-1758. If you want to get in touch with Brad and get him to come look at your job, I'm going to tell you what he specializes in. Master bath, kitchen, and master bedroom closets. It's not to say it's all he does, but it is his specialty for a reason. You spend a lot of time in those rooms. You want them to look the best they can and work the best they can. But when you sell your home, you can make your money back to a certain extent on those rooms. You can see more AlabamaBathRemodels.com. AlabamaBathRemodels.com. It is our guy, Brad Bell.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers. To everyone who craves a fresh meal made just for you, let our team member Jacob share what's special about Culver's.
In Wisconsin, our food comes from the heart, and taking the time to handcraft your meal with care is how we've always done it at Culver's. It's why your Butterburger doesn't touch the grill until after you order.
Come to Culver's and let us serve you a Butterburger made special just for you. From Wisconsin with love, welcome to Delicious.
Looking for the ultimate weekend in Birmingham? The Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix is back at Barber Motorsports Park, March 27th through 29th, bringing big energy, big crowds, and unforgettable moments. It's more than a race. It's a full day of excitement, family fun, food, music, and world-class competition, all set on one of the most beautiful venues in racing. The Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix at Barber Motorsports Park. Get your tickets now.
Think about the best summer nights of your life. How many of those were in a great t-shirt? Visit nextround.store to get the perfect t-shirt for the next perfect southern night. Nextround.store, the memories are waiting.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Ain't no party like a Dega party. The noise, the chaos, the will to survive. The biggest, boldest, brashest, fastest, and most intimidating track in all of NASCAR. Only one place calls that home. At Talladega, anything can happen. And at this super speedway, everything usually does.
Hell yeah, boys!
NASCAR weekend at Talladega Super Speedway, April 24th through the 26th. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
It's bow time. The Bojangles Chicken Rice Bowl is back. Get dirty rice, slow-cooked Cajun pintos, cheese, and your choice of chicken for just $7.49. But order now. It's only here for a limited time. It's bow time. It's bow time. The Bojangles Chicken Rice Bowl is back. Get dirty rice, slow-cooked Cajun pintos, cheese, and your choice of chicken for just $7.49. But order now. It's only here for a limited time. It's bow time.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
This hour of the show brought to you by Champy's world-famous fried chicken. It's lunchtime in Alabama again. And that means it's destination lunch location time. If you've got a Yankee, a Northerner, somebody who's not from the beautiful southern parts of this country, take them to the Southern Fare location of Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. It is the taste of the South right there. You'll go by there, and you'll meet Sterling, and he'll give you the tour of a nice location there that he has curated into a great homey feel there. And then he'll let you sample some of the best fried chicken you've ever tasted. It is brined overnight, cooked to order, juicy to the bone. The chicken fingers are hand cut. That means they are huge. The tamales, well, they're not tamales. They're Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. In-house made sides, in-house made desserts. It is perfect in-house or to go. Great to watch the brackets. It is Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Love those folks at Champy's Chicken right there. Before we get to 4 downs, let's talk a little bit more basketball. Nate Oates and Alabama playing tonight at 6 o'clock. They take on Ole Miss. Labaron Philon, this tournament and the next one, may be playing with a little chip on his shoulder. He was left off the finalist list for the Bob Cousy National Award. Here's Nate Oates on Labaron Philon being left off of this guard list.
I mean, shoot. I'm going to say this. I mean, those 5 are all really good players. I personally wouldn't trade Labaron for any of them. Now, obviously, I'm biased. I coach him, but I believe in what he does. I think when you look at what he does late in games with his game winning, if I would say him, I'd have a chip on my shoulder because I would think I'm better than those guys. Now, those 5 are all very good players, and this is no disrespecting those 5. I mean, shoot, Acuff came in here and dropped 49 on us. That's not easy to do. Labaron's one of those types that I'm sure he's seen it, and I'm sure it's going to drive him a little bit. When he's got a chip on his shoulder, I've seen a little bit different version of Labaron Philon. So hopefully, like you said, that's what we get to see here in March.
He'd trade him today for Cameron Boozer.
You obviously can't say that.
Yeah, I know. I get it. But, I mean,
any coach
with
would.
Wrightsell and Holloway, and then you throw Boozer in there, I think you got a much better team.
They do have a lot of parts at the guard position. They don't have a Cameron Boozer.
Yeah. The thing I would get, the greatest compliment I think you could give Philon is last year at this time, playing point guard for Alabama was the player that had probably the best career. Hear me say this: the best career in Alabama basketball history.
Hard to argue against that.
Yeah, best career. And I'm not saying Mark Sears is the best player in Alabama history. I'm not saying that, but I am saying he had the best career in Alabama history. And what has the drop-off been at point guard?
Not much.
Not much, if any.
Yeah, to your point, one side of the state, you've spent a lot of time this year saying, man, I miss Janai Broome.
That's right.
I miss Dylan Cardwell's leadership. I even miss Chad Baker-Mazara.
Some initially said that until he got run out. But you have not heard that at all this year.
And that's no knock on Mark Sears. That's just how well everyone else has been performing.
I've not heard one person. I've not seen it in the chat. I've not had Alabama fans tell me. We've had nobody say, God, I wish Alabama had Mark Sears back. And it's not because they don't like Mark Sears. It's because you don't need him. You don't. You got a great backcourt, and it's led by that guy.
I wonder if the CBS cameras will be in the Auburn team room. Here's Stephen Pearl, cut 3 here, Tyler. Stephen Pearl being asked what he's going to do, how he's going to be spending his time until the selection show on Sunday.
Long 72 hours until Selection Sunday. I'm interested in how you were going to handle these next 3 days. Is it something where you're watching the shows, you're watching games, or are you just going to get away from the game for a few days?
No, I'm going to break down this film and, just get to work and just get ready to, start prepping for the next game. That's really all we can do as coaches. And, we just got to continue to pour into these kids because, man, we've put them through a lot this year. This team's dealt with a ton of adversity. And, not a lot. I mean, I'm not going to say not a lot. None of the teams on the bubble, they play our schedule. I really don't think they're going to have performed as well as we did this year. I just don't. And I'm just going to fight for my guys on that. I'll stand on that. And, so going to watch this game, break down, and see the things that we did well, we didn't do well. We'll get back to Auburn, regroup, and see what the committee decides.
Committee decides. Do you think there's a camera in Auburn? Do you think they want them to? I'm sure CBS will want to have one there. Do you think?
I think there will be, because strength of schedule is so important, and they are going to be the team with the highest strength of schedule that potentially doesn't get in.
Yeah. Like Alabama football in the past, when they've been in this situation, has not. I don't remember them having a camera with Nick Saban or Kalen DeBoer sitting there. They've sort of.
Saban had one, but that's when they knew they were in.
They knew they were in.
Yeah. But I think
out in the lobby, Marty Smith, but nobody watching the team.
No, they
right?
had one in the team room one time, because don't you remember? It's the famous video of Saban.
Yeah,
and then he picks up his spit cup and.
I think the storylines. This is a Final Four team last year. It's Stevens' first year. It is one of the more difficult schedules in all of college basketball. Bruce Pearl's comments a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, there is a lot. So I do believe, if they allow it.
Yeah,
which,
I wouldn't allow it.
I wouldn't either. I don't know what the upside is.
Yeah, I don't know what the upside is either. And, more than likely, if you're playing percentages, and he's a very analytic guy, and you can kind of tell Steven thinks he's on the other side of the coin right now.
He's doing a lot of fighting to think he's in.
Yeah. And I all of us agree. We like Steven, and the guy that rode up the elevator with me today is like, I know you guys like Steven on the show. But yeah,
I get a lot of that.
So we're definitely pulling. Look, it would be intriguing if Auburn got in, because at that point, if you're Steven, you can sell it, man. It's everybody does it, because they will be the most controversial that gets put in this tournament the way they're playing right now. Yeah. I think,
as Brooks Graphics pointed out, no team's ever got an at-large bid with 16 losses. They'd be 17-16 getting in. Here's what I was going to say about Stephen Pearl earlier in relation to Kalen DeBoer. A lot of people don't understand that, there were a lot of things. Aaron Settles brings this up a lot on Bama and Bourbon, that a lot of people don't understand what Kalen DeBoer inherited in Tuscaloosa and just what it goes into doing something differently. And Kalen DeBoer wasn't in on Nick Saban's staff, so it was a new staff, new way of doing things, and he's had to transition to get to this year 3 roster where we think things are going to continue to improve. For Stephen Pearl, everyone is like, he's already been there, man. He's been recruiting these kids. It's not that big a deal. The way Stephen Pearl, his personality first, but the way he coaches, his belief system is different than Bruce Pearl's belief system. He wants to run more freely, fewer set plays. Bruce ran a lot of set offensive plays.
In fact, he's well known for that. Bruce Pearl's one of the more respected offensive coaches in this era of basketball, just based on the sets he runs and the different looks he can give you.
I would imagine Steven, he's not going to run Nate Oates' system, but Steven's more of an NBA system guy offensively in his mindset.
Again, him and Todd Golden, going back to their relationship, they are both analytic guys. They both want to run a similar style.
That's exactly
right.
And
when you get the right pieces in there, and let's not forget, Todd Golden really struggled in year 1 at Florida. Year 3, he wins a national championship. So I've said it before, I don't think this team's deserving this year, but I think Steven's going to do a hell of a job. But I think you have set me up for an ultimate 4 downs question that is coming whenever we're going to do that.
Yeah, for the people who think Stephen Pearl deserves to lose his job.
Oh, that's silly conversation. That's
insane.
But can I ask a quick question? Because we will not get a chance to discuss this before it happens. Would you accept an NIT bid?
I would not.
I am a hard no.
I wouldn't, just based on this fact. This roster's not coming back next year.
Right.
In the old days, you would take it and say, okay, with my younger guys, we keep playing, da-da-da.
This team has shown me if we don't get in, they really. Where's the effort?
And I think Steven's tired of seeing them play. I don't think. He won't say that, and he can't.
But you also risk guys that wouldn't play.
Yeah, I don't know. If I'm a Todd Pettiford, why would I play in the NIT?
Well, am I coming back to Auburn, or am I not coming back?
I don't
to
think
Auburn?
anybody thinks he's coming back to Auburn. If I'm Keyshawn Hall.
I've got my NIL money.
That's right.
What am I playing for in the NIT?
Why? The CBI has already announced that they're not having a tournament this year, and they announced it by saying "see you next year," which I would take a Cauchy position against that one.
They're not paying lease wherever that office is.
I don't know where it is, but the NIT can't be long for this world, because to Lance's point, with all these NIL guys now,
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm not in the big tournament, why on earth am I playing in the NIT?
Yeah, mid-majors, look, you can showcase your skills.
Yeah.
You're still out there. You're wanting, if you haven't got secured an NIL deal, you can go on a run. Those kind of guys make sense, but any of the premier programs, why would you play in the NIT?
A couple of my friends who are Auburn students hope they keep Tahad, even if they, quote-unquote, have to overpay, that on campus, Tahad, by far the most popular player, like Cam Coleman was in football. Keeping him would mean something to the students. Todd Pettiford there.
You saw what it meant to the coaching staff to keep Cam Coleman in Auburn. I mean, it's going to be the same thing with Pettiford.
Yeah.
Like great talent, but
I ain't going to pay that much.
Tell us about our friends at Hemp Hill before we get to our 4 downs today.
205-229-2090. Tanner, the guys came out just a couple of days ago. I thought the AC main unit was out. I thought it was dusted. They were able to salvage it. They put some coolant in there. He was like, I think we can get you through the summer. That's all I'm asking. Plumbing, heating, cooling, issues, home or business, they're ready to serve you. 205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
And 4 downs every single day, brought to you by our friends at Central Alabama Asphalt and Construction. They're paving trust in Central Alabama. Now, when you go see these big major state government municipal jobs when you're riding down the road, there's a good chance Central Alabama Asphalt is doing those. They get a lot of those government contracts. And that may tell you, well, you know what, they're not right for you if you've got a smaller job, a parking pad, a driveway, a parking lot for a church or a store or a community center. That is where you're wrong. They've got an entire division for that. It is the same crews, the same quality, the same no excuse standards. They don't skimp just because it's a smaller job. It's still their name on it, and that means something. Central Alabama Asphalt. Here is the number to call to get an estimate for your job. 205-349-0910, 205-349-0910, or online, centralalabamaasphalt.com.
First down.
More wins in 2026. John Mateer, or former Oklahoma quarterback, now a Minnesota Viking, Kyler Murray. By the way, the total is 8.5 in Vegas for Minnesota. They won 9 games last year. I would assume the win total in Vegas is probably 8.5 with Oklahoma.
Yeah, about the same.
But, you got to figure out, is Kyler going to play, or is it going to be J.J. McCarthy? Will Kyler play a full 17? But on the other side, will Mateer play a full 12?
Kyler just does not feel like a match for their head coach, but you wouldn't go get him if you didn't think he was. It's not like they were forced to take him.
Well, I think he's going to be really good.
So you would go Kyler.
That. I would, yeah.
Yeah.
I would go Kyler Murray, too, just because of the weapons he has.
And more games.
Yeah. But
and you guys will give me, they won 9 games last year with bad quarterback
play.
They
did. He can coach.
And I can see Oklahoma winning 9. I can't see Oklahoma winning 10 this year.
Be hard to believe. It'd be a hell of a job by Venables.
Yep.
But, if Mateer comes out and plays like the Mateer a lot of people believed he was going to be, kind of had an off year, but they still host a playoff game. I mean, they could win 10 games.
Yeah, I would say 10-7 Minnesota, and I would say 9-3 in the regular season for Oklahoma.
Second down.
Most people won't think this is a tricky question, but I think it is. More wins in 2026. Tua with the Atlanta Falcons or Alabama?
Well, this is all dependent on how much you think Tua starts.
Let's just assume he starts a full 17.
Okay, which is
going to be really difficult first of all, for him to win the job, which I think he will, but then to stay healthy for 17.
So Tua's your everyday starter. I would still go Alabama. I mean, that is. So
easy division.
I get all of Alabama's games, right? Even if they're in the playoffs, SEC championship,
I was going
regular versus regular.
I was going regular season on my first answer with Oklahoma, but I can do them all if you want.
I mean, if I get all the games, I'll go Alabama. If I only get regular season, it becomes more difficult.
Yeah, I'm same way. I'd go Alabama if you get all the games. If not, I could very easily see 10-2 Alabama,
10-10 tie,
9-8,
10-7. Yeah, I can see a 10-10 tie with regular season.
Longest odds to win the NFC South right now, believe it or not, is the Atlanta Falcons, which I don't get. You've got a capable coach in Stefanski coming in. You look at Tua's weapons. I just think Tua is going to be reset like Kyler Murray. I think a lot of these guys appreciate the second chance. You saw what Daniel Jones was able to do before he got hurt in Indianapolis. We've seen what Sam Darnold's been able to do, Baker Mayfield. So I think both of these guys are going to play at a high level.
Let me just tell you, the best thing going for Tua is he's about to play all these dome games. And I'm not kidding. That is a massive advantage for Tua.
It is.
Playing these dome games is going to help him tremendously. Now, He can't throw the deep ball the way he used to. I hope he can find his accuracy again. That's what he started to lose at Miami. That's why the Dolphins moved on for him, because it used to be his biggest strength.
I will say on the other side, that could be a problem playing in Green Bay and Chicago for a guy like Kyler Murray. Like, I don't know when those games are going to set up.
Yeah, but he never really did that in that division.
No.
Seattle might be one. You might get a bad weather game in Seattle.
Wet ball,
but it ain't going to snow.
Third down.
Trent Dilfer, 54 years old today. If I ask you in retrospect, who did a worse job at UAB, Garrick McGee or Trent Dilfer?
Well, I bet Forrester's got a good answer on this one. He's a big Garrick McGee guy.
I mean, the reputation.
My answer is yes.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, McGee.
The reputation, it's Garrick McGee, but
I don't know, because McGee went before
right.
what you got with Bill and the job that he was able to do there.
Well, where UAB had grown to, the support, and what they
Facilities.
had become. Yeah, Trent Dilfer did. Trent Dilfer inherited a better program than Garrett McGee did.
Well, I will say this. I don't think either one of those guys gave a shit about the program.
Well, which one came in with a more entitled? I mean, I know Dilfer came in entitled, but did McGee, Scott, was he real entitled?
Man.
I put Scott in a tough spot.
I heard
Garrett McGee's an asshole.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to put
No,
that.
he
He's just a complete
Yeah.
asshole.
Yeah, he really is.
When you hear Forrester say that about somebody?
Yeah, and I don't think Dilfer means to be. I think Garrick means to be.
I think Dilfer's just arrogant.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's the way Dilfer's just always been in his life.
McGee had nothing to be arrogant about.
College football broke me. I mean, come on.
No, he's arrogant, but McGee had nothing to be arrogant about.
One of my biggest regrets at UAB is going to the portal for leftovers.
Who said this, Dilfer?
Yeah, both of those comments. College football broke me, going to the portal for leftovers.
He's never going to take accountability, is he?
You're telling me the guy who spends less time on his college football team than he did his high school football team has a little bit of arrogance?
Yes, he does, Tyler. I know it comes as a great
What
shot.
did he max out at UAB as far as salary?
Who?
Dilfer.
Over $1 million.
I thought it was 2.
Well, that's why I thought it might be 2 too.
McGee didn't make anywhere close to that.
I mean, is it safe to say there's a chance he made more at UAB than he ever made as an NFL starting quarterback?
Oh, I don't know that. Yeah.
Well, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
I mean, it's been a long time, but I guess they were still making $10 million bucks plus.
1.2 per year plus a $100,000 annual bonus, totaling roughly $1.3 million a year in 24 and 25. Total payment approximately ended up being around $1.45 million.
I mean, that is just money down a drain. I mean, there's no other way you can discuss it except it's money down a drain. But you make bad hires, and UAB's made a lot of them. That one, those two probably are the worst.
Yeah, to their defense though, it's a difficult job to hire too.
It is.
$2.4 million on the buyout.
Yeah, it's got to pay for bad mistakes sometimes. Those are the consequences. Yep.
Was that
fourth down?
Okay, we've kind of danced around this question for months and months and months, but I do think it is really, really interesting because I think both fan bases aren't necessarily sold on their guy, and it's right here in state. But who will be at the current job longer, Kalen DeBoer or Stephen Pearl?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
And I think it is a legit question.
No, it's 100% a legit question. And both are following the best coach their program has ever had, and that coach had success on his way out there. I mean, there's so many similarities. Saban lost in the Final Four. Bruce Pearl went to the Final Four. I mean, there's a lot of similarities. Now, Saban far more successful than Pearl was, but there was also a degree of difficulty there. Pearl had a much worse job.
Based on expectations, there should be less patience with a guy like Kalen DeBoer because Alabama has more expectations. Talking to an Auburn basketball fan yesterday, he's like, we've got to know who we are still.
Okay.
I know Bruce has grown this and put us in a good position, but because you have one off year, you can't legitimately hit the panic button.
I don't know who's going to be ultimately considered more successful. Like, the degrees of success are going to be different for these two. DeBoer's got to win at a high level to be successful. Pearl's got to win. Here's how I'm going to break this tie then away in my mind. I'm going to say it's going to cost you a ton more to get rid of DeBoer than it will Stephen Pearl. I mean, Stephen Pearl got a very first coach right out of the chute contract.
Funny, though, always paint yourself as Mr. Positive. I'm looking at them being successful, and I think them being successful, for some reason, I believe Kalen DeBoer could have success in Tuscaloosa and still leave.
To NFL or another college job?
To another college job that maybe he is more comfortable in, that maybe he likes more. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, who had the 2030 projections and they had Kalen DeBoer going to USC?
That's right.
Now, I would say this about expectations. Like, Stephen Pearl can win 25-plus games moving forward for the next 3, 4, 5 years. But if he doesn't get to the second weekend in any of those years, he's going to be gone.
No, again, Auburn,
if Nick Saban doesn't play for, or excuse me, if Kalen DeBoer doesn't play for a national championship within the next 3 years, I think he's probably gone.
Like, I can still close my eyes and see Kalen DeBoer, head coach at USC, at Notre Dame, at Michigan.
Yeah, he's built enough equity where he will get another job.
So
Because the bottom will never fall out.
Let me ask you this, though. Like, I mean, this is an insane question at this moment right now, but let's say Stephen figures this out and has tremendous success. I mean, he could take a bigger job from Auburn. He's not an Auburn lifer if he has tremendous success either.
Well, how about this?
Oh.
Let's say that Barnes coaches another year, and Stephen has a really good year next year.
I mean, it is your alma mater.
And Tennessee comes to him. Like, if I'm Stephen, I would bolt at that point just because it's going to be really hard for him. He's always going to live in Bruce's shadow. He always will.
Yeah, it's a great point. Yep. Great point. With that said, I'll answer that I believe Stephen is there longer than Kalen.
Yeah, my answer would be Kalen.
I would
DeBoer.
go Kalen.
Yeah. But it's a tough question.
But you know, I mean,
there's so much unknown right now.
You've heard that Kalen might not, over the last couple of years, be 100% happy.
Yeah. So say Kalen wins semifinals this year.
He's in the semifinals?
Yeah.
He's fine.
He's fine.
I'm talking about being fired.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
See, you're always going back to being fired, Mr. Positivity.
But I still think Alabama fans are going to be like,
he's in the semifinals. Dang it, we lost a big game. Are we ever going to win one again? Meanwhile, Marcus Freeman goes to the NFL. Now Notre Dame's open.
You never know.
Or Michigan circles back. Kyle Whittingham was our fix guy. He was plugged the hole in the tire until we could buy a new set of tires.
Yeah, and
Michigan's open, and now the season's over, and now we can attack Kalen DeBoer instead of Kalen having to coach through that opening when they had to find a coach. I think there could still be a huge job out there while Stephen's still coaching at Auburn for Kalen DeBoer.
Well, and the fact of the matter, we really don't know about this. I know Alabama works really hard, but we don't know about what they have as far as resources.
Yeah.
And Kalen DeBoer, if he is smart, you would sit back and he could still win 10 or 11 games the next couple of years. But if he finds out, like, we've got a dead end here, and there are 10 other programs that are going to spend much more, and one of those programs comes after me, I mean, he left Washington for a reason because he felt like he capped out.
I think Michigan is one of those programs that can tap into some resources.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Alabama
it'd be
can't.
a hard
Notre
no.
Dame can do that. So it's a tough question. I hope both of them are here forever because I love both of them to death.
I agree. I think we've got really good relationships with both of the coaches, and Kalen DeBoer's proven. I think Stephen will get there, but it's hard to be patient in today's college athletics.
Before we do our viewing menu, tell us about Hoover Toyota. Let's get another update on what's going on in round 2 of the Players' Championship, brought to you by our friends at Hoover Toyota.
Yeah, they are a new Toyota and used car dealer right there in Hoover on Highway 150. They are serving Birmingham, Alabaster, Vestavia, new used car financing, auto service, genuine Toyota parts. They've been perfecting the art of customer service for over 20 years. That's why they offer the Red Carpet program and give you ways to let your friends and family experience an amazing shopping experience with that referral program. Their inventory at Hoover offers a fantastic selection. Their on-site finance department provides affordable financing options. Stop in, see the fine folks right there at Hoover Toyota, Scott, Harold, Kim. I've had multiple great experiences buying cars over the last year plus. To view the inventory and great pricing, hoovertoyota.com.
Corey Connors, the Canadian, one-shot lead over Sepp Straka, the Birmingham resident. He is at 8 under. Xander Schauffele at 7 under par. That's your top 3 right now at the Players' Championship there at TPC Sawgrass as they continue to play their second round. As Jim said, they had to finish the first round this morning because of some bad weather, but they are into the second round right now.
Viewing menu every day brought to you by the wonderful folks at Michelson Laser Vision. I was reminded yesterday, not a candidate for laser vision. Dr. Michelson was the first person to ever tell me that. And I had an eye checkup yesterday, and with this Fuchs dystrophy I have, I can't even wear contacts. So I'm got a couple new pair of glasses coming in.
Fuchs at Fuchs.
Yeah, I wanted to do a awareness walk or run.
Zero Fuchs given?
Yep. Or Fuchs U. We could do a lot of fundraisers.
I mean, that is frustrating, but it's one of the things. There are non-reputable people out there in the LASIK space, if you were to come in, they probably would just do your eyes.
Yeah.
And even if it was just a temporary fix and you start losing, your vision and, they probably don't care. But you guys have been in to see Dr. Mark Michelson before, and he is going to tell you legitimately if you are a candidate, a proper candidate, something that this will help for decades. I'm speaking from experience. 23 years ago, in April, I got the procedure done. I've still got 2015 vision better than 2020. 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
So last night I was at the movies, as I typically am, and I saw the new horror movie Undertone. Now, for my full thoughts on that movie, you'll have to wait until the next episode of The Next Reel, because I definitely want to get into it. But that is the scariest horror movie I've seen in a while.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
They do a really good job with sound design to just make you feel tense and unsettled for the entire runtime. And then there's a lot of sections where, it'll be cutting back and forth between like the reaction to the audio and then, different shots around the house. So you're left to your imagination to fill in what's happening in the call and what that looks like.
So the kid that directed it was his directorial debut. Did he do a good job with it, obviously?
Yes, in my opinion. Because everything that relied on sound design was top-notch. When they start towards the end trying to show you a little bit more, it's not as effective, but well done for making a $500,000 movie and doing it this well in 2026.
You're right as far as scoring a horror film. I'm not a fan of the horror genre at all, but I'll never forget watching The Omen as a 3, 4, 5, 6-year-old, whatever it was. The music in The Omen absolutely freaked me out.
Oh, yeah. The Omen's got a really creepy score.
Yeah. But I'm out. There's no chance. I don't care if you say it's the best horror film you've ever seen. I will not see this.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far, and I also wouldn't put the scariest movie ever label that the marketing department has put on it. Although this is one of the better films to get slapped with that. It was genuinely disturbing, though. It was downright evil at points.
How did you watch so much real life disturbing things? I just would think this stuff wouldn't even bother you.
Yeah, but it's like the supernatural element. I just don't think it's good. First of all, I think a lot of it's crap. You will give me that.
Oh, yeah. Like Paranormal Activity, those movies are trash.
Well, look, because you are in this industry, how do they portray the podcaster? Is it legitimate?
I mean, so I only have one little nitpick, and that's the entire premise is that her co-host has been sent these files, and he's just like, yeah, let's just listen to him live on the recording.
Oh, no,
and it's
you
like,
never do that.
No, nobody would do that.
No, if they emailed him to Dunaway, he'd never get them if we had this.
It's true.
It's true. Yeah, I learned last night that Forster does not turn his text off.
Ever?
Yeah, like...
See, I just assume I texted so many people at like 5:36 this morning.
Yeah, I just
assume you've got it off.
My text doesn't make a sound, ever.
Yeah, mine doesn't either.
Yeah, ever.
You think Bo's phone rings when it rings?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, so but I leave my ringer on at night in case the kids need me. So Forster, what did Debbie say about me this morning?
Oh, no.
She said, "Who in the hell is texting you after midnight?"
So I'm texting Forster.
What, is there a reason you've got yours on after midnight?
So it just vibrates, and I had it on the dresser, and she heard it. That's it.
So I get this text back from Forster because it's a constant. Anytime during the day I come across stuff for the show, I'm sending it to him, and I get this back at 12:08. That's the text he sends me back
at 12:08.
Yeah.
Well, he's confirming he got it, right?
That's right. At least he got him.
And the time. He made sure he framed up the time there, and I was like, my bad. As I sent him the fourth thing, I was like, my bad. I thought you'd had your text on.
As I told my oldest daughter, if you get in trouble after midnight, that's going to be between you and Jesus, because I am sound asleep.
I did text Forster earlier. Do you have that ready, Forster? Is that what you were doing, the signal? I was asking our friend Richard Holland what the buzz was like in Nashville. And, of course, everybody loves to plagiarize. Nashville now, a bar called Nudies, which is right across from Tootsie's, has got the Jell-O shot count for all 16 fan bases.
Wow. So we're all doing it. Shockingly, Kentucky in the lead.
Boo.
But you got to tell. I mean, it is a good business model. I mean,
it is.
It's a ridiculous ripoff. But you're basically selling 50-cent sugar and bad PGA.
Oh yeah, you're making a fortune on it.
Do we know the people that own Nudies?
We don't. My first question to him was, is that a gentleman's club?
Boy, Auburn did not represent while they were there, did they?
I don't like the font they used for Jell-O shot contest.
Okay.
And then they went with Times New Roman on the left. This is a mess.
Yeah.
This is a mess.
Pick them apart there, Tyler.
Is that Comic Sans?
No, it doesn't look like Comic Sans. It looks like just sort of like the hand style, like sketch kind of font, and I don't like that.
I mean, LSU representing. I guess they
of
do like
course
to
they
drink.
are. Yeah. Got to drink to watch that product.
Whew. Some would have said that about Auburn early on.
They
Only 10 of those.
They didn't drink much.
Not there a lot. No.
Somebody needs to buy around for Vanderbilt right there in their home
hotel.
city.
Yeah.
And they're playing today. They got a double bye.
What else are you watching, Tyler?
Today we've got another re-release, a much more lighthearted film than the one I saw last night, and that's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: Secret of the Ooze.
Okay.
It's got the classic Jim Henson puppet work for the turtle costumes, as well as the villains in the movie, and a surprise cameo from Vanilla Ice in this one.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
I will give you credit, man. You like every genre out there. Bad, good, indifferent.
Oh, I grew up on the old Ninja Turtles movies. They at Walmart, they have like a bargain bin DVD section, and for $5 you could get the first 3 Ninja Turtles movies.
Wow.
What a deal.
And they're great. Netflix has added Nobody 2 to its catalog. This is where Bob Odenkirk is an assassin. It's kind of an action comedy.
Couldn't do it. I watched the first one. I'm like, man, I love Bob Odenkirk, but in this role, it was awful.
I bet it is kind of hard
him
to
just
suspend
whipping
your
the hell out of
disbelief that
people?
long.
Yeah.
But this one takes place at a water park, and it just looks like fun. Max has added the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy. That is the ones with Tobey Maguire. And so I'm going to run those back this weekend because they're a lot of fun. And I still think that the transformation scene in that first Spider-Man movie is one of the best transformation scenes done in a film. It's probably second only to American Werewolf in London. And then finally, I've got a couple more things. Max has also added The Terminator, so you can get started on your list this weekend, Brown.
Got it.
Tomorrow, Paramount Plus has a new show from Taylor Sheridan called The Madison. Stars Michelle Pfeiffer and Kurt Russell. A New York family's life unravels after a tragedy. They process their grief while vacationing in rural Montana, where they explore human connection amid their profound sorrow. It's supposed to be the most heartfelt Taylor Sheridan show. I don't know what that means as far as other Taylor Sheridan shows, but if you're into it, you can watch it.
It's at admission, though, the new one, the spinoff, the U.S. Marshals or whatever it is, it was one of those, it popped up next on my whatever streaming service I was on, I guess at that point Paramount.
Mm-hmm.
And so I watched the first 5 minutes. Awful.
Wow, what a shocker.
Yeah.
You wrote a cheesy show. And then Sunday, we've got the Oscars. This is important for me because if you see 100-plus movies in a year and you keep a running list of where you rank them all, it's nice to see where the Academy lines up on movies versus where you line up on them. And we also went through our Oscar predictions on this week's episode of The Next Reel. I put the link to it in the chat. And I think we've got some solid predictions in there. Ones where you could take it to Kalshi and get free money.
Yeah, you will sweep the board with the 5 major categories. I think it was the 5 major categories we gave you guys. But what was your number one film? I think you didn't mention it, or maybe you mentioned it. You didn't say it was my number one film. I think I know what it was, but.
So technically, my number one film of 2025 was not nominated for anything, and that's because it was the Chainsaw Man movie.
Okay.
Sorry to spit. Chainsaw Man.
Sinners was number 2.
Okay, that's what I thought. Sinners would be number 1 for you. Okay.
And that's all I got today.
That's what Tyler is watching with LT. You can get some more of that on the next reel. He saved at least one nugget there for the next show, next episode 3, which will drop next week. Episode 2's out now, so you can go get those Oscar predictions at the next reel. Couple of sponsors for you before we get to trash. One of them is our friends at Odie's.
Odie's Tavern, a great place to, if you love the live music tonight and tomorrow night, both locations, the original Crestline, newest location in Edgewood. Fantastic food at both. Great place to watch all of your college basketball action during the conference tournaments this weekend. I will be at Odie's multiple times next week. Can't wait. But stop in, see Will Aver and that great staff. Birmingham Institution is Odie's Tavern.
And our friends at Champy's, world-famous fried chicken, Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Get by there and see Sterling and the crew. Enjoy a great lunch, a great dinner. It's a lot of fun at Champy's Chicken. When we come back, we'll do trash and say goodbye to the week.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that quality legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Sterling and the fine folks at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster want to welcome you in for a great lunch or dinner starting at 11 a.m. every day. Chicken that's brined overnight and cooked to order, and the taste of the Delta with those Delta recipe tamales. Champy's is perfect for all your tailgating needs this football season. You can also choose Champy's for your next party, wedding, or birthday. Great food, great people. Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster, and everything online at champyschicken.com.
At Central State Bank, we are large enough to serve you and small enough to know you. Manage your money with ease, whether it's mobile banking, hassle-free checking, competitive loans, business solutions, or personalized financial advice. We're your hometown bank with big-time service. Visit us today and experience banking made simple, because at Central State Bank, you come first.
Member FDIC.
Get all your favorite Next Round gear all in one place. NextRound.store. From our Next Round hats to the logo tees to the all-time best-selling Y'all Can Have the Rest shirt. You can look your best by shopping with us at NextRound.store. Take the next round anywhere with NextRound.store.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000. Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
It's bow time. The Bojangles Chicken Rice Bowl is back. Get dirty rice, slow-cooked Cajun pintos, cheese, and your choice of chicken for just $7.49. But order now. It's only here for a limited time. It's bow time. It's bow time. The Bojangles Chicken Rice Bowl is back. Get dirty rice, slow-cooked Cajun pintos, cheese, and your choice of chicken for just $7.49. But order now. It's only here for a limited time. It's bow time.
Show being brought to you today by our friend Alexander Shinara. Hit the spotlight, Tyler. Let's do it, man.
The College Football Spotlight.
It is presented each day by Alexander Shinara. Shinara Trial Attorneys. You don't pay a dime unless they win your case at Alexander Shinara, and they won a lot of them, $2 billion plus for his clients, and he has accomplished that by just doing a few things, right? Focusing on integrity, mastery, passion, and success. That's his core values. That's how you get $2 billion for your clients. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shinara.com, Shinara.com.
Dylan Raiola is our spotlight today. He participated in the first practice at Oregon Spring. Broken fibula ended his season last year at Nebraska. He'll be the backup to Dante Moore, but he is participating there at practice. Good for him. The Tennessee Titans made a good move yesterday. They dropped all the Navy from their uniform. Redesigned logo, redesigned uniforms. That is the new look Tennessee Titans.
I think they got close. I'm not like 1,000,000% in love with it, but I like it, and it's better than their old one.
Yeah. Do those pants have any striping on it, Forrester, especially the blue ones? They have any striping on it on the side?
I don't believe so.
The only thing we're missing is a little more tint of red. I know Forrester brought up the red face mask.
Yep.
That would help.
Yeah.
Is the T not kind of like a Tesla logo too?
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
The little detail I really like is they call it the 6-string stripe on their jersey. Homage to a guitar.
Oh, I see.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't realize that, Brooks. Thanks for pointing that out.
Yeah, Brooks, thank you. I didn't hear that. It's a good story.
It is a good story.
I'd like to know if the white one, all white, I like it. If there's piping on the side of the pants, the white with the blue pants, I like it. If it's piping, I don't see what's so hard. Just give me the old Houston Oilers uniform.
Yeah, get as close to that
and
as you
just
can.
put the Titans logo on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good uniform, though.
Yeah.
They got it
it's
better.
an improvement. Let's do trash today. It's brought to you by our friends at New York Butcher Shop.
The New York Butcher Shop, great place to pick up fantastic steaks on your way home. Some of those in-house sides made fresh. But not only the steaks, the chicken, the ribs, the pork, everything right there in-house, made with the great touch of the staff of Butchers. Get in, see Jim and all those great guys. 2 locations, the original Cabo Heights, Highway 119 in Greystone. Don't forget about the fantastic selection of fine wines and desserts as well. Rare quality, well-done service. It's the New York Butcher Shop.
Did you hurt your hand?
It's large. It's large. I was able to get the whole thing in my mouth, though.
LT's Trash is presented by Bud Light.
Easy to drink, easy to enjoy, and don't forget $1 green Bud Lights right now at our friends at Innisfree. A woman in India who had been declared brain dead reportedly began breathing again after the ambulance transporting her hit a large pothole on the road home.
Oh, no.
Now, according to local reports, Vinita Shakula, 50 years old, has been discharged from a hospital with doctors saying there was, quote, no sign of life in her, according to her husband. He had already began preparing for the funeral. Shukla had originally been admitted to the hospital on February 22nd after collapsing at her home. Doctors later determined there was almost no chance of survival before she was transported back home on February 24th. While traveling in the ambulance, the vehicle reportedly struck a large pothole, causing a violent jolt. Quote, I was told by my family to prepare for her last rites. She was not breathing. There was only a sinking heartbeat. As the ambulance reached our city, it struck a large pothole and the vehicle moved violently. My wife then immediately started breathing normally again. I immediately informed my family that we were suspending the funeral.
That's good.
Yeah. How about that, man? The Alabama Highway Department saving lives.
You know who would, unfortunately, she would have died if we had Central Alabama asphalt. They'd have that road so dang smooth. Yeah. I mean, that would have just been one of the byproducts of their good work.
If you know somebody that goes brain dead, just drive them. I haven't been on Valley Avenue in a while, but back in the day, you couldn't miss a pothole.
This is the equivalent of, I don't know if you guys had the same thing, but the old tube TVs when you were growing up and the picture would get messed up and your dad would say, hey, go slap the side of the TV, and it would fix it somehow. Like everything would just get realigned when you hit the side of the TV. That's what happened to this old lady. Basically somebody just hit the side of the TV. She's back alive. Good for her.
Is Canada going to try to get their revenge tonight, by the way? WBC on the Americans.
Oh, we're playing the U.S.?
Yeah.
This will show if we sold our soul to the devil, Dunaway.
It's like minus 9,000.
What was the Italy? Does our manager know we need to win this one?
Yeah, it's a knockout round. Even I know that.
23 people, speaking of Canada, have been rescued by helicopter crews in Ontario after the ice shelf they were standing on broke, sending the group floating into the lake. Now, Ontario police said on social media the rescue began around noon on Sunday after, quote, winds and current moved the ice shelf away from the shore approximately 1.2 miles. Rescue involved 2 helicopters making multiple trips to pluck people off the shelf as it continued to fracture into more pieces.
So they never went into the water.
No.
This broke away from the land, so now they're floating.
One member of the group said he only realized the ice he was fishing on had detached from the shore when he noticed that his GPS showed him moving.
Yeah.
Members of the rescue group described harrowing moments, with several of them becoming partially submerged in the cold waters as they sought out the thickest ice or sheet.
Yeah, so this is like a great video game. You have a bunch of people on the ice breaks away, and then it starts fragmenting, and pieces are falling, and people are falling in the water. You're trying to stay on the ice shelf and kicking other people and punching other people to keep them off of you from throwing you into. This should be a wrestling segment.
That's a Mario Kart or Mario Party mini game.
Oh, it is.
Where you punch people off the ice block.
Yeah.
This should be like, instead of putting people in cages, they've sort of done that over and over. This should be WWE, like Reign of the Iceberg.
Now, according to fisherman Kevin Fox,
Reign of the Iceberg.
Well, I looked at my GPS. We were moving. I turned around and saw waves forming behind us. He said that he and several others started running towards a route that they hoped still connected to the shore. We decided to run towards one side of the bay, but when we got there, the ice had already separated from the shore. We turned and ran the other way, but the ice was breaking there. Some started phoning their families. It's something I will never forget, seeing grown men crying while saying goodbye to people they love.
Well, I mean, I don't think it was going to be that bad, was it?
Oh,
I'm not going to say my final goodbyes.
If they go out to sea a mile plus, how the hell are you going to get back?
We got boats. I mean, this is not the 1200s where nobody was going to be able to get to them.
Yeah, you're also still stranded in freezing cold water.
But people saw me leaving. Again, I'll ask the question that we asked. They're on top of a block of ice, right? They're not in the water.
But it's continuing to break up, and it was bad wind, so they weren't sure the helicopters were going to be able to come and actually get them.
I feel
but
like
they were able to, and some of the members suffered hypothermia, but everybody is expected to recover.
I didn't mean to dismiss it so quickly. I did not know hypothermia was involved. But I do feel like it was an extreme measure to say your final goodbyes. I mean, I'm going to let it play out a little bit before I do that, aren't you?
Well, I mean...
Well, what if you let it play out and then you never get to say a goodbye? I mean...
Did Rose get to say goodbye to Jack?
Well, he didn't know it, but yeah.
She pushed him off the door.
Yeah, I mean, he was frozen and she dropped him on down in the water.
The only thing I would say about your point is now that they survived, very traumatic for whoever the wife or kid or mom or dad who got that phone call. Can you imagine being in your kitchen and your husband just went to go fishing?
Johnny needs to tell it to you. What? I'm cooking dinner. What's he up to now? Well, he's floating away on a piece of ice.
Yeah, we're not going to make it.
Yeah.
We're already starting to eat people.
That would be the bad thing. All right, guys, we're going to eat Earl. We just broke away. Can we see if they save us?
How did I draw the short straw? Florida homeowner has sold his property in only 5 days. This is so dangerous. By letting ChatGPT run almost the entire selling process without ever using a real estate agent. I hate to do this story live because this is another job that AI is going to take.
Oh, I don't know.
Robert Levine, married father of 3 from Cooper City, turned to AI for the full sell after living in the house for 15 years. Speaking to NBC6, Levine explained why he did it. Quote, I really wanted to challenge myself to use AI for the entire journey, not just piecemeal it every step along the way. Chatbot created a full selling schedule that included when to start packing. It advised him on which rooms to repaint for maximum return, created marketing materials for the open house and online listing, recommended listing the home on a Tuesday, and wrote a draft contract. Levine only brought in a lawyer to check the final legal paperwork. Every other part of the process, from pricing to organizing showings, was handled through ChatGPT. Levine said the approach saved him roughly 3% of the total sale price.
It helped him save 3%. So basically, that's what the normal realtor will take is 3%, right?
But man, you sell $1 million house, it's $30,000 you're saving from using ChatGPT. Other people will start doing this.
Now, if I'm a realtor, I'll be like, yeah, but I'd have gotten you $50,000 more. You undersold it because of ChatGPT. So you lost money on that transaction. That would be my
I'm
argument.
sure
back,
the
whether
realtor
it's
would
not.
say that.
Yeah.
Well, I know,
they don't have any incentive.
But they could be right, Tyler. It doesn't mean they're wrong just because they have incentive.
And finally,
I ask you this: you got a house to sell. You're going to use ChatBT or a realtor?
I mean,
realtor,
I've
you
seen
say it.
Terminator, so I'm going with the realtor.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if you knew this, but Richard Hendricks pointed out my tech savviness yesterday.
I did notice that.
So I might have to use the old Chat GPT. During the winter of 2023, Daniel Welch, a longtime front of the house usher at film at Lincoln Center, sat in the box office. Middle-aged woman approached the window and asked for a ticket to Upside Down Anyways. Welch was a little baffled. The Upper West Side Theater was not playing a film called Upside Down Anyways. Following some back and forth, however, Welch realized the woman actually wanted a ticket for Everything Everywhere All at Once, which was screening at the theater. After the woman departed, correct tickets in hand, Welch turned to the box office computer, opened a Google Doc called Wrong Movie Titles, and entered Upside Down Anyways onto an eternally growing list of incorrect film names given by patrons. For more than 3 years, box office staff at Film at Lincoln Center has been diligently cataloging all the incorrect movie titles by theater goers, noting everything from near misses like In the Mood for Love into In the Name of Love, to baffling mutations like changing Anatomy of a Fall to An Economy of Murder. 27-page list recounts patrons who asked for tickets to The Croods instead of The Shrouds, Wallace and Herman in place of Wallace and Gromit, The Station Guard rather than The Secret Agent, Corsage became Bouquet, Hard Truths became Heartbreak, and Between the Temples became Across the Street.
So basically a whole society of me's out there.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking when I pulled this story. I've got a collection of other gyms just going up to the box office and being like, I'll take a ticket for this movie.
Yeah, there's somebody for me out there. Even if I had not met Maggie, I could have bumped into somebody who see movies like I do. An Economy of a Murder.
But once you get to the theater, I mean, there's signage. So,
it doesn't stop people. As someone who has worked in service before.
The last 2 times I've gone to the movies, there's nobody there. We have to buy them online. So I'd have been telling Maggie, hey, it's that movie about the little small people trying to find that ring.
Yeah.
She'd have been like, you want to see
You're talking about
Return of the King. Okay.
God of the Kings. No, Lord of the Rings. That was it. Yeah.
Bend over Pac-Man. That's it.
Yep. I thought this one was funny. Instead of Bend It Like Beckham.
Bend over Pac-Man?
I'll take 2 tickets to Bend Over Pac-Man.
Wow.
The sequel, Miss Pac-Man Pegs.
I don't think Pac-Man can bend over. He's a half circle.
And then the movie with the most incorrect titles is that's The Big Girl from which was supposed to be The Beguiled, but Honora has about 30 different misspellings that people have asked for.
Huh. Interesting.
Was that last year?
Yes.
That was a good film, but boy, she was obnoxious.
Oh, yeah.
Flies by, doesn't it? All right, one more update from the Players' Championship brought to you by our friends at Hoover Toyota. They bring us our majors updates, including the Players' Championship. Brenny, what's happening on the course?
I'm glad you did one more because it is my error in having done this. I left off Lee Hodges, who was just, at the time, was just a couple of shots back. Lee is from Huntsville, played at Alabama.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I left him off. That was my fault. So
First baby on the way.
Don't want to ignore a Alabamian there. Birmingham resident, Seb Straka, is still your leader at 8 under par. He's tied with Xander Schauffele and Corey Connors, the Canadian, at 8 under par. Cam Young at 7 under. And there's old Lee Hodges, Jimmy D, Huntsville, Alabama's own, at 6 under par. Hoover Toyota brings you the update.
Yeah, always great inventory, financing options. Stop in Highway 150. Go see the fine folks there. Tell them the next round sent you. For more information, hoovertoyota.com.
And that's our show today, Bama Basketball. If you want to hear from Bryan Passink, it's wherever you get our podcast. And we'll react to Selection Sunday coming up Monday on the show at 9 a.m. Central Time. Don't forget to get by and see our friends at Innisfree today. $1 green Bud Light drafts all day long. $1 green Bud Light drafts. Fun on Saturday, live music with Bud Light. And then Sunday, you get DJ Barry bangers and hot dogs all day. And then on Tuesday, It's St. Patrick's Day, the Keg and Eggs, opening at 6 a.m. All with our friends at Innisfree. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.